Welcome to Can Angels Fly, Tarot, and more. My name is Nancy, and today I'm here to have an Aquarius rant. The subject matter is a new world order, and new paradigm living. If you're ever interested in ordering your own personal tarot reading, you can do so by contacting me by email. My email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. If you're ever interested in offering financial support, you can do so by Cash Apping me. My Cash App name is $CanAngelsFlyTarot. I ask you to please like this video, to share my channel with others, and if you haven't, please subscribe to my channel. Once you have subscribed to my channel, please locate the notification bell, click on it, so you'll be notified whenever I go live and or upload a video. Hello. Once again, welcome to Can Angels Fly Tarot, and I'm Nancy. Yes, this is a tarot channel, but I do so much more. So today we're doing that more stuff. And the first thing I want to talk about is we seem to be finally entering into this new world order. And once in a new world order, we'll need a new way of living, or we'll be experiencing a new paradigm living, I'll say. Let's see. Got so much stuff here. Let's see. I have been doing my astrological interpretations for April. I had done them before, but I lost the papers and I never finished. So I went through over the last 24 hours and did a complete interpretation of the astrological energies for this time period. So we'll probably be discussing that during this particular live stream, which is predominantly what an Aquarius rant. So right now I'm looking for my ranting notes, or my notes about what I want to rant about. Let's see. Same old, same old. I haven't been going live or uploading any videos because I had to step back from doing what I do on my channel because I saw it beginning to take a turn. Over the history of my channel, I've tried to stay true in my pursuit, and my pursuit was to uncover what was really going on, or what has been going on in this world over the history of humanity, including, and of course most important to me, this time period in which I live. And once this coronavirus thing occurred, I realized I began to kind of become a conspiracy person. And I say that because I was wondering why they chose to name the virus corona. And so I did my research and I unfolded what I unfolded. And the name of that particular video is following the breadcrumbs to the coronavirus. But even though I did the research, and what I discovered based on my research is 100% a possibility for about what's occurring in our reality and has led to our current circumstance and situations, is conspiratory in nature. And that's not really where I want to go on my channel. I want to stay true to our reality. But I can see that the lines between reality and conspiracy are blurring. So from this point on, I will definitely, and I think I've been doing it anyway, expressing when I'm just offering a theory or a line of thought versus something I know true. See, over the history of my channel, I covered that which is true. And I know it was true because I lived it. Now, I'm just entering in with you, ladies and gentlemen, into this new experience. So, again, my last few videos have been fairly conspiracy type based. Why? Because I hadn't already lived the experience to be able to say yay or nay or be a witness to or testify to something in particular. Why do I bring that up? Because in this video, this is an Aquarius rant again, and I'm going to share my experiences and theories. So much of this video you can really take with a grain of salt. The first thing I want to talk about is a dream that I had. And I wasn't going to share this particular dream because I don't want to scare anybody. And so again, take this with a grain of salt. I'm just sharing my dream time experience so that I can have it recorded here on my channel along with the rest of my catalog, so I can always refer back to it. So here's the dream. The dream that I had was several nights ago, and I was at a house with some other people. I don't even know who the other people were. I just know it was a man and a couple of women, and they were my family members. Anywho, me and these few family members were leaving this house, and as we began to exit the house, it was a pickup truck in a driveway, and out of the pickup truck hopped two people. One of the people was a male cousin of mine, and this male cousin had on the back of this pickup a lot of like furniture, his possessions. He was in sudden need of like housing, and so he came over to the family member's house I was over. So everybody at the house was shocked, like, what are you doing here? Well, he needed, I guess, a place to stay or to store his stuff. So nobody, argued about it or was a resistance. We just began to help him unload the truck. Now, mind you, he came unannounced. So anyway, we all began to unload the truck, this pickup truck with his stuff in it. And one by one, we were taking his stuff in. And just as we got almost through with unloading the pickup truck, I approached the truck and noticed it was a rug in there and a few other items. I saw a bunch of roaches. I'm like, oh my God, it's a bunch of roaches. So I said, stop, y'all, stop. Don't take the stuff in the house. Stop it, even though the bulk of the stuff was already in the house. And I'm talking about in this pickup truck, it was so many roaches. So anyway, everybody stopped and started looking, and then they started seeing this infestation of roaches on my cousin's stuff. And it was a really interesting dream because I haven't seen a roach in years. I hope not to see a roach. I know they still exist, but it seems as if any roach infestation in the real world is under control. So for me to have that dream was like really interesting to me. I'm like, roaches is where I get roaches from. So anyway, everybody stopped. Anyway, back to the dream. Everybody stopped taking the stuff in the house and began to try to pull the stuff back out the house, but it was too late. It was just too many roaches we realized what had taken place. And my cousin pretended that he didn't know that his stuff was infested with roaches. Anyway, I just remember that everybody, including my cousin, began to frantically try to, get rid of the roaches. What do you call it? Extinguish the roaches? Exterminate the roaches. Exterminate the roaches. And we worked so hard I could feel tension in my neck, in my dream, just frantically trying to get rid of these roaches. And then my dream jumps to like the end of the dream, where after we put forth so much energy to get rid of these roaches, that finally we are winning. And the last scene of my dream, my cousin is standing behind me trying to get rid of the last little roaches. Me, I'm on my knees with this carpet, and the majority of the roaches are like little baby roaches, and I'm having to hand pick them out of the carpet. And so the thought that was going on in my dream amongst me and my family members that were trying to exterminate the roaches was, how long did this take? How long did it take for us to get to this place? And the answer was 3, the number 3. So I think I told you the gist of the story, of the dream. So now I awake. In my awakened state, I was like, what kind of dream was that? Again, like, roaches are so passé. They outdated. At least I think they are. So like, why was I dreaming about roaches? Why did I dream about that particular cousin? And before I could get those questions out of my mouth, out of my, popped up in my mind, the answer came. It said 3. Again, this is just me sharing a dream, not trying to scare anybody. But the interpretation that came to me when I was awake, without much thought, was that the people, me, my cousin, I think my brother was there, and a few other family members, represented a particular group, a more supreme group. We were more supreme over the roaches. The roaches, it was so many of them. They were everywhere. And in my mind, I compared them to like 7.5 plus billion people in the world. An infestation of people all over this world. And me and my family were the superior beings. The more intelligent beings, the more powerful beings, the more capable beings that did not appreciate the presence of those roaches, that infestation of roaches. We just didn't like that. And so we worked so hard to bring all of that stuff back out. We had just taken up in the house. And mind you, we had went up flights of stairs. We were just, again, trying to exterminate them by any means. As mentioned in my dream, I was on my hands and knees picking out the little baby roaches out of the weaving of the carpet and in the corners of the carpet. And they were little, and I was just, killing all the little roaches, the infestation. And was just starting to win the battle at the end of the dream. With just a few roaches left. It was nothing like when it first begun. And it took 3. 3 what? I say it to myself when I was awake. 3 hours, 3 days, and all I heard was 3 years. 3 years. What am I trying to say? I'm saying my dreams seem to be about a supreme species of beings that look at humanity as roaches. Yeah. 7.5 plus billion people infesting the earth, and they don't appreciate it. We're nothing to them but a nasty bug. And it'll take that species, that's this supreme species I'm speaking about, 3 years to exterminate the humans on earth. And the reason why it'll take 3 years is because we're so persistent and we keep on multiplying, number one. And number two, they have come to realize that they have to handle us in phases. Different wave of attacks that occur over a 3-year period. Oh, I know what I forgot. This was the real crazy thing. After we had about exterminated all the roaches, and there were just a few, like I was on the carpet picking them out. When I went to stand up, from being on the carpet, my mouth was full of roaches, baby roaches. It was full of roaches. And that's what we were all saying. We got roaches in our mouths. Like they, even though we had mostly won the battle as far as the house and the different pieces of furniture and whatever else. Even though there were a few there, they were almost exterminated. But we still had roaches in the lining of our mouths. And I was like, what is that? And we could taste them and feel them crawling. And we kept trying to scrape them out our mouths. Like almost like in interpreting my dream, that if there is a superior being that is going to move or is moving to exterminate humanity, because they look at us as little bugs, pesky bugs, it'll take 3 years. But even when this species believes they have almost, exterminated the people that create humanity, it's still a few that they will have to pick off, so to say. But even during that period and at that time, it's like something gets in their mind. We're in their mind, just that we even existed, and they can't stop speaking about us, or we're always just there. You know what I'm saying? And it's a hard thing for them to get rid of. Now that was just my dream. How y'all doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're dealing with this quarantine well. That's something else I want to speak about. And so that was a dream. And I share that dream again because I want to record everything on my channel, because it is my file, my personal file that I have open to the public, about the things that I experience, whether it's in a dream state or reality, or I'm dealing with spiritual realm. I just want to be careful from this moment on out not to confuse any viewers, anybody that may look into these files, my channel, get confused between reality, conspiracy, theories, and different things like that. I don't want you to get confused. So right here, right now, I'm having an Aquarius rant, and I'm gonna cover quite a few things. And so I just shared my dream and the interpretation of it. Is it true? I don't know. Just recording. So, what's not this eye? What's this eye? So I'm really tired. Okay, so I shared my my dream about roaches. Okay, next, I want to talk about passing the coronavirus. Now, I have to say that I'm 50 years old. Y'all hear me say it all the time. Just recently turned 50 in February. So I have about 45 years or a little bit more of consciousness due to what my past life experience and exposure. And throughout my life, my thoughts have been formulated and governed by the people that raised me and my education, basically. So over the course of my life, like many, you come to understand this physical world. You come and understand yourself, understand others, understand yourself in relationship to others, And I say that because I want to talk about what? Of the passing of the coronavirus. I don't know what's really taking place at this point in time in the history of humanity in which I exist. I don't. It almost seems like a Mandela effect. If you don't know what a Mandela effect is, Google it, YouTube it, it'll tell you. But things just aren't right. Things just aren't the same. They're not like they used to be. What I mean, it's not like it used to be. Things are not like they used to be. Things are not playing by the rules that were set years ago. In the last 45 years. What do I mean? Like, when I was coming up, I was taught by old school people, by my education, that a common cold is passed from person to person in the air and over on surfaces. You just don't know. So you just gotta be careful, practice good hygiene, washing your hands, and keep your hands out your face, different things like that. I bring that up because currently, again, the rules all are changing. It's insanity to me. And it's not just to me. I guess this is a private experience that a particular age generations are having. Like, I talk to my older friends and they like, I ain't never heard of that. That's all we keep saying to each other. I ain't never heard of that. It's been quite a few things in the last few years, and everybody saying, I ain't never heard of that. I ain't never heard of that. When it comes to the passing of the coronavirus, all I can say, I ain't never heard of that. That is insanity. I think that our system, governing powers, are confusing people. I really don't think the rules to certain things have changed, but they are aware, our system, our governing system, understands that people's intellectual capacity has crashed. And for some, it has crashed and it's burning. So when it comes to the coronavirus, the concern is, how do you spread this coronavirus? How do you spread anything? Well, it depends on what it is. Some things are spread through consumption, meaning you have to eat something to get the issue, like food poisoning. How do you get food poisoning? You get food poisoning from having the contaminants enter into your digestive system. That's how you get food poisoning. And effects of food poisoning is cramps to the stomach, diarrhea, vomiting, sweating, all kind of stuff. But we're not talking about food poisoning. That was just an example. So how do you get, like, what else? Something else you can get. I'm gonna give you an example. How do you get, like, a common cold? How do you get? No, I'm gonna jump. How do you get AIDS? I'm hearing people talk about, this coronavirus is similar to AIDS. I'm hearing all kind of crazy stuff. It's similar to AIDS, and HIV or something like that. I'm hearing just kind of crazy stuff. Well, we have learned that one gets AIDS, or is it HIV, which changes over to AIDS. Anyway, one gets HIV through what? Exposure to bodily fluids or exchange of bodily fluids that can occur through hypodermic needle, using a used hypodermic needle, or through sexual intercourse and different things like that. That's how you transmit transmit AIDS. I mean, HIV. And then how do you get AIDS? HIV symptoms when they get to the extreme case and the T cells or whatever drop, go up, whatever they do, then you have AIDS. Now, how do you get the coronavirus? Now, this is based on my point of reference of my education down through the years, etc., etc. Now, the reason why this virus that we're dealing with is called COVID-19 is because it is a grouping of viruses that go together, like the common cold, like SARS, SARS, like MERS, MER. And I bring that up because I talked about it in previous live streams, but this is really concerning me. And so here is this COVID-19 or this coronavirus, and if I'm understanding, they haven't even named the strand. I believe that they didn't name the strand because they don't really know like where it came from. It may be some type of mutation. That's just a guess. Just a guess. And so anyway, how is it spread? Well, we refer back to the common cold. How is the common cold spread? Number one, if you had a cold, and you were out sneezing. Oh, let me stop. Still, how do you get the coronavirus? What have I been hearing? Well, it's like AIDS. It's like HIV. Well, yeah. Okay. If you get too close to a person, if you exchange bodily fluids with somebody that's infected, or if you're in close proximity with somebody affected, that makes sense. But only that way. Or, how do you get the coronavirus? 1 minute is through droplets. No, then it's not through droplets. The next minute is through aerosol spray. Then the next, it ain't through aerosol spray. Then they got the SARS hanging in the air for 3 hours or days. I'm looking like, what is wrong with people? I mean, and the powers that be, our system is allowing people to be dumb. I don't know how to say it nicely, because I'm frustrated. People are dumb. You know, stop being dumb. Stop. Try. So anyway, how does this current virus that we deal with move from person to person? It does move through droplets. It does move through aerosol spray. Droplets and aerosol sprays is about the same thing. The aerosol spray is when you say sneezing or coughing and the small particles come out. The droplets is when they begin to fall down to the ground or on top of a surface. And so those droplets land on the surface and they sit there for so long before they die or they lose their power because they don't have anything to feed off of. Air itself is a natural dilutant. Water dilutes, air dilutes. Why do I bring that up? Because when a person sneezes or coughs and doesn't cover their mouth, those aerosol sprays go out into the air. Now, if a person is standing right there with you, we'll say on an approximate within 6 feet range, they're in an immediate line of fire. They're in an immediate line of coming in contact with the virus that leads to the coronavirus, COVID-19. That's how it happens. And if a person doesn't come in contact with that space somebody has just contaminated within a particular set amount of time, I mean, because, hey, the wind comes along and blows or dilutes those particles. It dilutes the particles and it dissolves, or it loses its strength, its contamination strength, just like anything in water. After water runs so far, I think every few feet, it may have to go further now because we have so many contaminants. Water dilutes and dissolves and cleans itself. Okay. Anyway, if you don't step into the space in which somebody has recently contaminated, the air has already cleansed the space. The next way to contaminate, so what am I saying? First way to be contaminated with this virus is to be in close proximity with someone who is snotting, coughing, spitting, shooting out aerosol sprays into the air, and a person inhales them, or it gets on them for them to what? Inhale, put in their eyes or mouth or whatever. Okay. But after some time, after the air has had enough time to move those light particles along, the space is clean. The next issue is the droplets. That's the aerosol sprays from the sneezing, the coughing, the sniffing that fall out onto surfaces. Or a person and then puts their hands down onto the surface and transfers it to the surface. Then a person comes along and touches that same surface. And then after they touch that surface, they go toward their eyes, their nose, or their mouth. And it gives entrance, allows entrance for the virus to enter a person's body. How does that look in reality? Let's imagine. A person has a common cold and they are walking down the street, sneezing, coughing, and then they go to a payphone. I don't know, y'all younger folks might not know what a payphone is. It used to be payphones outside that you can go put a quarter in and call anybody anywhere. It was outdated and replaced by cellular devices. So it was a time that people could walk up on the street, pick up a phone. What they used to call the phones. Anyway, pick up a phone and dial somebody and say, "Hey, I need a ride home. I'm sick." "Okay, I'll wait here." They hang the phone up. But they just sneezed and coughed and did everything before they walked up on that payphone. It's called a payphone, to pick it up. So when they hang the phone up, those are the droplets that people are talking about. And if somebody like you or I come behind them within moments and pick up that phone and put it to our face or ear that the other person with a cold or coronavirus has, and be like, "Hey, but you're feeling fine." But at that moment, you're picking up droplets. It's right here at your ear, your eyes, your mouth, and it's the virus is our living microscopic bugs, and so they just keep on, and we just keep on pushing them until they gain access to something into our bodies where they can hibernate and incubate and spread and feed. That's how it is spread. So what am I saying? How is the coronavirus spread? Based on what, the news, I guess, is trying to tell people, but people are not comprehending. It says, hey, stay outside of 6 feet of somebody that's like not in your house, somebody that you constantly frequent, that you share the same air with, share the same, space with, air, beds, things. Because if you in that close proximity, y'all most likely gonna pass it to each other. But the next door neighbor, you ain't gonna be able to pass it to. Your best friend, a house that you used to go visit all the time, don't go visit them now. Because if you go over there, you're going to pass it to them. Just leave it in your house. Leave it in your house if you got it. Let it run its course and be done. But stay away 6 feet from people, because they may cough, they may sneeze, or they may have touched a surface that has the coronavirus on it. And if they have, or if you have, We touch ourselves, our faces, our nose, our everything, and everything else in the course of a day. You are going to get, not only are you coming in contact with the virus, you feeding it to yourself. That's what they're saying. So keep your hands washed, keep your hands sanitized. Don't go outside because the virus is running so rapid, meaning there are people sneezing and coughing everywhere. They're leaving the droplets. We touching stuff and we moving the virus around. And if we don't practice social distancing, meaning stop going over people's houses so they can have time to see if they got it. And if they got it, to let it run its course for them. And the same thing for you and your family. Stay at home. See if y'all got it. Take about 2 weeks to know if you got it or not. And if you don't, good. Stay in the house because it's got out of control. It's gotten out of control. But anyway, I just talk about that. Hopefully I made it make sense. I think I was making it make sense in the beginning and may have fell off. But I just cannot believe how people just really not smart anymore. No, intelligence is insane. The low level intelligence is insane. It's insane. It is insane. And the thing of the matter is, then it's the social distancing. And say again, hey, stand 6 feet away from a person if you gotta go out. If you ain't gotta go out, stay in the house because this virus, this particular strand, most likely has mutated from something. Whether it's a mutation of the common cold, and this is just my theory, or a mutation of pneumonia. The virus that leads to pneumonia. Hey, this particular strand is deadly. Why? Number one, it's a couple of things we're dealing with to why this virus is spreading. One is that people do not take care of themselves. People don't pay attention to themselves. So again, I shared that I believe that I had the coronavirus back in December. Bought the new year in with it. And I talked about how I knew something was wrong with it. But I also know me. I know I've had colds before, so I could compare it to a cold. I'm like, something ain't right here. I have had spinal meningitis before. I was like, something ain't right here. So I had points of reference or previous experiences that I could compare it to, and I knew it wasn't something right. And I told y'all, based on what I was experiencing in real time, when I was sick, I dealt with the situation at hand. A lot of people don't do that. They ignore different things. I'm hypersensitive. I always tell you, don't let the fact fool you. I'm hypersensitive. So when I told you, when I hacked up that cold that had the consistence of almost like liver, and it was green like the Mucinex Man, I knew what I was dealing with. I knew I was dealing with an infection. I knew it was an abnormal infection. I knew that had that stayed lodged in my lungs, it would have been no way for me to get it out. So I could not allow that to come up on me again. And I told you something told me to just boil water, drink really hot water, drink hot water and lemon, and that's what I kept doing. I talked about it I talked about it in detail, so I don't want to go back through it. But I knew because I paid attention to me and was in the moment dealing with the situation. And people that are dying, some of the people that I'm hearing about dying in my immediate, location are people that I can't see as people that really gave special, extra tender, loving care to themselves. I'm not talking about people that love on themselves by going shopping. I'm not talking about people that loved on themselves by not telling themselves no and overindulging. I'm talking about people that could sit with themselves and truly understand their bodies and how it functions, the different things like that. That's a different level of loving on yourself, And so a lot of the people that I've heard of that have passed away, possibly, what is it called? in mortuary, I guess, what's it called, mortuary terms, in mortuary science, is the onset or trigger. What am I saying? The coronavirus may have very well been the onset or trigger to these people's death. Well, the coronavirus may have been a trigger to a health issue that led to these people's death. What does that mean? It suggests that a lot of people have contracted the coronavirus, and the effects or the symptoms of the coronavirus are so severe that it puts stress on other parts or the different parts of your body. So, like to say, if you already have a weak heart, the coughing itself or the infection that is present due to, like, the pneumonia could be overwhelming to the heart. If a person already has lung issues, the infection in the lungs and the pressure that builds up from the asthma effects that occur, the pneumonia setting in, could overwhelm somebody's lungs, is what I'm saying. So most likely the coronavirus is being a trigger to a health issue that's leading to people's death. And so why am I talking about this? I'm talking about it because of the things that I'm hearing. You know, whether it's in my immediate location, on social media, a lot of people, y'all not smart people. And I'm not talking to all of y'all. If you can get on my channel and basically comprehend what I'm saying, because I too am not the smartest person. But I always tell you, I have an ego and I'm pretty arrogant. And the one thing I don't ever want to do is be a dumbass. I don't want to be a dumbass. Why don't I want to be a dumbass? This is an Aquarius rant. I know I'm jumping everywhere. It is because I have seen what people that power do to dummies. I'm trying to be nice. I have seen it. I have witnessed it over and over again in my life, even from a little girl. And I was like, that will not be me. That won't be me. So I'm the kind of person, as I came up through our system, in the school system, I asked a lot of questions. And I had to, what can I say, I all the way through college, I had tutoring. You know, all the way through college, I was special ed. I'm not going to be stupid. You're not going to walk on me. You're not going to step on me. You're not going to tell me anything. But what I'm saying is, y'all, come on, get it together. If you know somebody, pass this video along. We have to be actively more intelligent. We have to try harder. And I know we can try harder. Again, I was in college and doing special ed. Literally. I was in college doing tutorials. I'm the kind of person, and you've heard me say it on my channel, I write all over my walls. Sometimes writing it on paper is too small for me. I got to see it big, or I got to see images, or something. I got to see it move. I learn hands. Oh, when I was in college, I did some of everything just to learn one concept. And it was all because I didn't want to be taken advantage of by the system. And I was aware of that when I was a little girl, seeing the things that I saw. As you should be able to figure out, I am offspring of a black woman. I watched my mom battle this system. Had she not known what she known, this system would have crushed her long before she died. But she had what it took to hold them at bay. And that's what was going on in a lot in this world, is that there are people that know enough to hold our system at bay. Then there are others that achieve, we'll say, great feats as they satisfy like the demands of this world, and they get the credentials and the degrees and different accolades and different things like that. But on a soul level, we talked about it, they're angels. So yeah, they may work for the system or take higher seats of power, but they're usually the minority in the group. They're the minority in a corporation or a company. And so they have to play ball in order to hold that seat, at least to witness what's going on. That's to say, now all the time, even though a person in power knows what's going on, knowing there's some corruption, but they can't say nothing because they know that they would be, their reputation will be destroyed. They know they'll be uprooted from their position, and how could that possibly help the underdog? The people that's are barely capable of holding our system at bay. But the primary, focus of all this is people that are blind, can't see, and don't know how to battle. Just sheeple, just people going about their lives, just taking this life for granted and not aware that there's people fighting on all levels in order for you to have liberties and freedom. It wasn't just people like Gandhi or Martin Luther King fighting for you. It was people like me, my mom, that did these hand-to-hand combats with the various constructs of our social system to show them that the little people will not go quietly into the night. Well, here we are. We're at a place now where what our reality really is, or what our social construct really is being exposed to all. This is the year 2020, the year that promises clear vision. So now will begin to see the corruptions. Number one, the construct and the various constructs that create our overall world construct. You'll be able to see the corruption in each construct. And you'll be able to see it actually. We're about to go into this next, because these constructs are breaking down. They broke down, as a direct result of this coronavirus outbreak. That's what broke them down. Because it stopped the economy. It stopped the blood flow of our world construct. What am I saying? I know I'm all over the place, y'all. I'm just here, to record my thoughts and my findings, because this is my file. This YouTube channel is my personal file cabinet that I got open up to you. My personal logs that I have opened up to you. Please like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe. But the coronavirus has been the catalyst, or is the catalyst, to our economic collapse. We call it economic collapse, or the decreased blood pressure in our world structure. So now, I know I'm all over the place. May not make sense, but now I'm going to talk about these core social constructs. We talked about them before. And why am I talking about them again? Because we're here. We're here. The time that everybody's been talking about, we are here. What time? The New World Order is being constructed. The New World Order will be a collection of social constructs that create an overall new social constructs. What's so new about the new social constructs? Well, there'll be new policies, rules, regulations, etc., etc. We talked about it. The New World Order. And once these new constructs are in place, we're going to be doing what I've coined or deemed new paradigm living. When they change the laws, you're going to align with the laws, the rules, the regulations, and or policies. Therefore, it's new paradigm living. Remember, you heard it here first at Can Angels Fly Tarot. So, Historically, let's see. I did it. Let me stop. I did a video last year, and it was called Pyramids. What are pyramids? You can locate that video if you have time to get an understanding of how pyramids is the same thing as it's the same thing as the social construct, something like that. I don't want to go in detail because I want to stay focused. So, I should have took some Tylenol PM so I could be easy like a Sunday morning. Anywho, social constructs. About 3,000 years ago, the powers that be, or civilization, humanity, knew that they had challenges set before them. And the challenges were that they needed food, they needed housing, they needed clothing, they needed water. They knew that. They knew that it was mandatory. Those things were mandatory in order for them to live. If they did not satisfy the requisites of life, to sleep and to wake, to eat, to drink, to urinate, to defecate, and different things like that, they would die. They also realized at some point in time, some 3,000 years ago, that the population was growing. They also realized that all the people had to be taken care of. Those requisites for life had to be addressed, or people would start dying. They also came to understand that the challenges a human being faced was based on their demographic location. That is to say, the place that they live. Whether they were on an island very close to the waters, or up in the mountains, or if they were in a landlocked region, their needs were different. And what they had access to was different. You got to remember, it was a time when people didn't know exactly what they could eat or could not eat. And they had to watch life, the wild animals and stuff, to begin to see what they could eat. So what am I saying? I'm saying humans had to conquer all of these things in order to sustain our lives. As we mastered these things, our social construct is a representation or symbolic of our mastery, of humans' mastery over this life. I'm going to say in this life, because we ain't going to master the life, but in this life, we hit a level of mastery. But as we mastered our challenges, things got corrupted. That's a whole nother thing that I may talk about later. So right now, I just kind of want to give some background to these various social constructs that we take for granted, such as the government, education, healthcare, relations, the judicial, and they're labeled. You can label them however you want. I'm just labeling them the best way I can off the top of my head. World religions, technology, and it's a few more. There were at least 11 core social constructs, plus some more I know of, but I didn't have time to go into everything. I leave some things for y'all. Now we're going through this coronavirus pandemic. The world has almost come to a halt. That means that the circulatory system of this world, of this construct, is given out, meaning it's dying. Why did I say no? I said no because I don't want you to get stuff mixed up. The earth, down there in that right corner, is one thing. That's a whole separate entity from this entity I'm talking about right here. Our social construct, our world's social construct is an entity. And its blood pressure is not circulating like it used to. It is this being, this creature, this system, this structure that we made together over 3,000 years is dying. It's crawling slowly. When a being's blood pressure does not work right, that means that the blood is not being pumped through the body, through the parts, through the constructs. That means the blood or the money or the currency or the resources is not going to the government, then to the school, and to the different relations, and to the healthcare, and to the technology, and to the judicial system. So the heart of this is not beating anymore. This social construct or creature, a spiritual being, we talked about spiritual beings, is dying. The earth down there in that corner is a whole different living being. That living being is sick. We're not talking about that right now. She's totally separate. This social construct sits upon earth. Don't get it twisted. This right now is what's dying. And what is this over? So we're clear. This social construct was created in order to seamlessly distribute all the necessary life-sustaining resources to you and I and the rest of the people in humanity at any given time. I need food. You need food. The person on the other side of the world need food. I need a shelter. You need a shelter. The other people on the other side of the world need a shelter. All the life-sustaining resources. It's just over that, distributing it. And making sure that we all stay safe from Jack the Ripper, from Charlie Manson's, and different deviants like that. We all need health care, at some point in time, whatever it may be, whether it's just having a baby, dealing with the common cold. We need health care. So that's what the social constructs are, what this is about. And that's the role that the social construct has played for us. Remember, it took hundreds of years, thousands of years to develop this sophisticated system. Thousands, at least 3,000 years, something like that, to develop it to where now we take it for granted. It's dying. It's about 3,000 years old, and the system or the spiritual being is dying. The reality is there are people that have an interest in the system not dying, and they're going to do everything in their power to make sure it can live as long as possible. But they're not just, how can I say, they're just not going to make sure that, this being lives as long as possible. They're going to y'all hold on, I'm trying to wait. Let's see. Let's see what I got here. I'm going in my computer, y'all, because I need to pull something up to show you what is occurring at this time. It seems to me that the powers that be really could not agree on how to bring about the New World Order, because they knew it would cause disruptions. They knew that it would be losses and casualties. So the various powers that have existed over the last few years were procrastinating in bringing on the New World Order. I'm looking for something in particular in my laptop, y'all. So they were procrastinating in bringing on the New World Order because they realized that they could not bring the New World Order into existence without people witnessing it. They knew, again, that there will be casualties and different things like that and a lot of loss. And they didn't want that to happen. They would have rather been able to bring the New World Order into existence inconspicuously or incognito, as well as not to suffer any losses, and to only have predetermined casualties, meaning things that they really wanted to get rid of, they would allow to get rid of. They would focus the energy on getting rid of certain things at that time of what? Bringing on a New World Order. But when they saw they couldn't just do it the way they wanted to do it, they procrastinated trying to figure it out. And so here's this coronavirus. What's this coronavirus, or is this coronavirus intentionally put out by man in order to cover up the transition from the old paradigm into the new paradigm, or the old world structure to the new world structure or new world order? Or is this virus just a natural occurrence? You know, that's something that will be we will have clarity on. But either way, even if man physically, started this virus, it is still like a religious person would say, it's still God's agenda, meaning they was fulfilling God's work for them. So now we see that the various social constructs have come into a halt. It's like a person's heart failing and they're on their knees, crawling, gasping for air. That's our current world social structure. I share in the last live stream I did, I think it was an astrological reading for May, that it is a time period of death and also a time period of that which will die and be resurrected. That terminology that I'm using to describe the astrological energies for the month of May 2020 is so interesting to me because it's religious based. Those are the words that I read when I was in the church reading the King James Bible. Death and resurrection. And then here I am almost 20 years later, I can sit here and interpret the stars. And it says, through interpretation, death and resurrection. Death and resurrection to what? It's death and resurrection to the various social constructs of this world that create our overall social structure. That is to say, death to some of the various constructs. The constructs that we've talked about are education, government, healthcare, the criminal system. Those are just a few. Relationships or marriage and family and different constructs like that, technology. And then there is other things that will die and be resurrected, meaning certain things like what? What would be one of the things that die and stay dead versus which social construct will die and then be resurrected? An example of a social construct that could die out and not come back is education. It can just die out. What social construct can die and not come back? Money. Credit. Oh, that's what I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to stop there because I said credit. I want to talk about something else. What social construct can die and then be resurrected? Will seemingly die and seemingly be resurrected. It is the government. the government, the whole government system is suffering a death. But a seemingly death, I have to say, because the government will be resurrected. And that is what our new world order. Yeah, I'm still in my computer looking for something, because I want to show you what's taking place, and I can show you maybe as equally as well as I can explain what is occurring right now. So I'm looking for a particular image that I forgot to add to my little live. So let me see. So far I talked about my dream, about the roaches. I talked about passing the coronavirus. The next thing I guess I want to jump and talk about is a mandatory quarantine. Mandatory quarantine. When all this first happened, I said, y'all, I said this twice now. I said, y'all, I'm going to have to fail everybody in my area for self-quarantine. They not doing it. They not doing it. Then I came back and I said, well, the astrological energies say we gonna do it. We gonna do it. But even after that, I'm still looking at the people in my location, in my immediate environment. I'm also witnessing other environments through social media where people are having a very difficult time quarantining themselves. And to me, number one, the virus is real, but the extent of its and the frequency of the spread of the virus, that's questionable to me. So what I'm saying, okay, some people, we've been asked to quarantine ourselves so that the virus won't spread. Is that what's really going on? We know part of it is yes, but I'm saying, how severe is this? Certain things you don't play with. So, okay, we are to quarantine ourselves. That's what I'm saying. Certain things you don't play with. Old school people say certain things you don't play with. It's better safe than sorry. Go in the house, quarantine yourself. But then there's something else going on when it comes to this quarantine, other than people are not practicing common sense. As mentioned earlier in this live stream, people don't even understand how it's being spread, but won't exercise caution. There's something else that is occurring at this time relative to quarantine. People are realizing, even, how can I say, they are becoming a person, many people are becoming aware of their own ability to sit still. Are they able to embrace this revelation? No. But I'm seeing they just cast it to the side and keep going. Rather than stopping and saying, hot dang, I can't even sit with me. I can't be still. Then there's another layer going on. And it's that many people are not quarantined alone. They have families, significant others. It's people that they cohabitate with or live with. And these people are finding out that they really don't like each other, that they don't love each other. Heck, they don't even respect each other. Soon as I heard that we were being asked to quarantine ourselves, I said, oh, is the poop about to hit the fan? To be locked within at least 4 walls with people you don't like, you don't love, you don't respect, nor do you really want to be around. But you're there for one reason or another. Whether you need somewhere to live, you need some money, you codependent, you're trying to use them, whatever it is, you there. You there. And now, by law, by the time the mandatory order went out, you are stuck there. And so people are, what in the last couple of days, I done seen 2 news articles. Just in my local area in Detroit, there were 2 bodies found outside a house in a car. I don't even know the details, but I could just imagine. Then another post came up about a man assaulted his woman and left the child in the car in the middle of the street, didn't even care. And he took off, run up the child in the car, then hurt the woman. I don't want to get too graphic here because of YouTube. And took off. And so I'm constantly hearing the fire trucks go, the ambulance go. It's just insanity. It's just insanity. In my own home, I done got into it with my daughter. I'm like, hey, you got to go. You got to go. You can't keep going in and out. I set my young adults down and I explained to them. Got to see what their level of comprehension was. They all understood what was going on, what was at stake. I explained my perspective on being quarantined and what it meant. I set up cleaning stations for when a person has to leave in and out. I explained what acceptable leaving out was from my house, which was to go get food or prescriptions, or if a person was an essential worker, to go to work, come back home, clean your shoes, your face, your nose, or whatever you got to do. Have a change of clothes immediately. Simple stuff. I made sure that we had everything we would need for an extended amount of time. Because I tell y'all, I'm always been like a prepper. So I was already prepared. But even though all of that was covered, what I realized is my young people, especially my daughter, couldn't sit. Couldn't sit. Bored to crap with oneself is something else. To be bored with yourself say a lot about you, a person, not you, but people that can't sit with themselves. Cannot entertain themselves. Even when there is a deadly threat. That will take it to another level. We ain't talking about just sitting here, being forced to sit down as punishment. No, we're talking about facing a deadly threat. Either take a chance with your life or sit with yourself. And people can't do it. So what am I talking about? I'm saying this time period was foretold of. I know that I got a clear message about this time period on March 6th, 2016. When God talked to me, and he told me, and not just me, y'all heard me say, if you follow me, many people in the world say, hey, this time period is coming that, see, I think that's the ambulance going nonstop. Anyway, I was talking about not being able to sit with self. So in 2016, God said, I'm going to create scenarios scenarios for, in order to help re-educate people's minds, to help redirect people's minds. I want to use this one. I had to go all the way down there. And sure enough, here it is. It says, and in that prophetic message I received back then, it says, I'm going to help people be able to see themselves, not only themselves, but those around them. You know, I'm almost to the point of tears. I spent my whole life getting these different revelations and things, being a weirdo. And even though this is the most horrible, one of the most horrible experiences I could imagine, in a way, whatever is greater than me, I'm not going to pretend to know, what it is. I have no idea what it is. I can just tell you how it speaks, what it informs about, those kind of things. But I'm almost to tears because this is like the biggest experience, in my life, that all of the communications, this is on a broad scale. And so I'm telling you, what bothers me more than anything is that, I've been here on YouTube for 6 years. Nobody recognizes that God was really talking to me and I was sharing it. That's my own personal pain and agony. Devil know how to torture and torment a person. So again, I'm still alone. But at the same time, it happened. Everything I said, it said to me. Every thought it shared with me, it's really happening. I hate that it's happening, but it happened. It didn't say, Nancy, I'm going to get a world of coronavirus. No, it didn't say that. It says, I'm going to come and I'm going to create certain circumstances, situations, experiences, and scenarios to help re-educate the people's mind. And however else it says, I'm going to transform your mind. And in that video, I interpret what it said to me a few ways. It says it's not, I remember saying that people think that the age of Aquarius is, flowers and all that singing and stuff, but it talked about it in that video. It talked about the social discrepancies, the global discrepancies, the war. It talked about a lot of different things, but it's here, So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, it's here. So I'm pumped up and excited about that. I'm happy. Anyway, I know I'm all over the place. Let me get back, because I took all that time to find this picture here. Let me go back. So, but I'm almost to tears. So anyway, I was talking about the social constructs, that it took us about 3,000 years to build. We take it for granted now. But this system, this overall construct, whether in our local area or globally, it's global, as well as you hear it is global, it's national, it's local, it's city, it's state, it's in your community. What's in our on all of those levels? Social constructs. Either it's the category or subdivision or subdivision of a social construct. It took us 3,000 years to build this system to ensure that everybody in the world got what they need to survive. So now it's dying. Well, number one, it became very corrupt. Is this social structure going to die completely? No. It is seemingly dying. only to be resurrected, to be reformed, to be transformed, like the death card in tarot, to be transformed. So what we can look for now, I'm going to tell y'all, come start in May, I'm just going to give y'all something to look for. This is y'all challenge. In the month of May, from now until what? You can clearly see our new world order from now to the end. But a primary focus of May 2020, start looking for, what is it, the two witnesses. I'm talking about biblical stories. In the Bible, it told of two witnesses that will come. And these two witnesses would minister at the wall like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Then something would come and kill them. An example of what I'm saying is like two witnesses in reality. When we use our mundane everyday mind, this story looks like two old ancient men standing at a religious wall praying and prophesying for 2 whole days or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden the military come blaze them down and the two men lay in the street dead. And then I forgot how many days, on either it's 3 days or 7 days, I don't remember, been out to church a while, but after so many days, you assume they out there rotted to death, that they get back up and they boom, spit fire out their mouth. So you got to remember that the different Bible stories are allegories and whatever else, all those different terms, folklore, whatever you're going to call it. So that story, it seems like it's the time period for that story to come into existence, is what I'm saying. So what are you looking for? What I'm saying look for two ministers. I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about constructs, most likely. Imagine this, that there are two constructs that minister about the death and the rebirth of our social constructs. Like, what should be our social constructs? Should we allow education to just die? Should we or shouldn't we? Should we allow the government to just die? Should we or shouldn't we? Should we allow the healthcare, the whole construct of it, to die? Should we or shouldn't we? See, these two priests that I'm talking about, that were mentioned in the King James Version Bible, I do believe are ministering and prophesying about that, about what the social constructs and what they will do. An example, let me try to make it make sense. We are moving from the old paradigm into a new paradigm. We are moving out from under this system, which is dying. I can say parts of the system is going to die. Other parts of the system going to look like they dead or dying and then be resurrected. So right now, remember I was saying that this system is sick. It's like a person that is suffering heart failure and their blood pressure is down and the blood is not beating through pulsating through their body, and they short of breath and they giving out and it's crawling, right? You think it's gonna die. But what's going on, what's over here, is the scaffolding system, because the construct is weak. So this is like a crutch or a wheelchair to the construct that we've been living up under for the last 100 years. It's been set up, it took 3,000 years to build, 100 years it managed us well, and now here we are with this social, this is scaffolding of our social construct. What's scaffolding? What's scaffold? How does it look in reality? Well, since we're dealing with the coronavirus, a lot of people not going to work. Boom. Part of the staffing is how many people are they saying? 6 million people going after unemployment. If unemployment can pay them people a few times, one time, few times, that's the scaffolding system. Because the old structure, the way of doing things, the old building, well, the old building had everybody that could work working and employed. And only a few people got unemployment. But now, we need about 6 million people to receive unemployment. If our system is able to give people money, however long they deem to give it, however long they deem is part of the scaffolding, then that's a part of the scaffolding for them to pay them people out, 6 million people out, unemployment, because they can't work because of coronavirus. What's another part of the scaffolding system? If you're young, you might not know what a scaffolding system is. It's the outside. It's this here, what the men are sitting on. It's this structure here to help, outlines a structure in order for the people to work on it, to build it up. I just want y'all to see that in case you're younger. This is called a scaffold or scaffolding system. So right now, the world is working from a scaffolding system of our social constructs. Certain parts of the construct are demolished or dying, so they can't scale up outside that building. So they have to have the scaffolding to get up to different parts of our system. Another part of our system is that the government is talking about giving, I guess, like tax-paying citizens $1,200 stimulus check. That $1,200 stimulus check is a scaffolding system. The powers that be, the government, expect that once people get the $1,200, they will use it to purchase and buy. The question is, what are you really going to be able to purchase and buy when all the stores are closed? Now we're starting to move into the new paradigm that's being built from the powers that be standing on the scaffolding system. They have begun to build the new world. Remember, they procrastinated because they knew there would be losses and casualties and the system was going to die. How do we transition from one being to the next? Couldn't figure it out. Here comes the coronavirus. Is it man-induced or is it triggered? Was it brought on by nature? Doesn't matter. It's the catalyst for the new world order. So here we go. So now, come on here. Be good to me. Let me go back here. Because at this time, I want to talk about next thing I want to talk about. Okay. I done fussed and cussed during my Aquarius rant about not being able to stay mandatorily quarantined. And it's saying something. I'm jumping all over the place, y'all. If you're new to my channel, I'm Nancy, and you are experiencing Aquarius rant. And so much more. And so, let me finish my thoughts on being quarantined. Hey, y'all. This quarantine has a spiritual aspect to it. Remember that prophecy, that experience that I had 4 years ago, it's unfolding now. And the one thing it was going to do was reveal to us, ourselves, as well as others, to us. And what we're seeing now, unfortunately, is how we are with people that we really do not resonate with. So you end up getting caught in a residence with people you don't like, you don't love, and you don't respect. So there are effects for that. Because you did that, there's effects. I mean, there's people falling out, there's people fighting, it's arguing, it's cussing, it's people being starved, beaten, abused. And I stop there. Because another thing that I'm seeing that's irritating to me is how we want to act like we're angels and saints, and we're not. No. Most of the people that I know, including myself, can be awful, awful, cruel, and evil. Cruel and evil. So, let me see. I'm going to pose this question as I posed before. Do you know who people really are? Do you really know? Because what do I mean? I'm saying, hey, I live in Detroit. It's a church about on every corner. And you see the people going into church suited and booted. The ladies with the big hats. And so we think some of us think they Christians are holy. Then, we see people that pray, meditate, they vegan or Paleolithic or whatever they want to be. And we think they holy. They sin free. We see people go out and hand out clothes to the homeless and different things, and we assume that these are really, really great people. But are they? Are they? Some people that partake in some of these activities are good people. There are good people everywhere. There are good people that take drugs. There are good people that's alcoholics. There are good people that can't get out and hand things out to people. There are good people everywhere. There are good people that are poor. There are good people that are rich. But right now, it's about the majority of the people. And the majority of the people, do you know who they are? Well, many of them are greedy, selfish, self-serving. I ain't going off, y'all. I'm just referring back to that prophetic message I got in 2016. Asked you to ride the wave with me. I'm going somewhere with this, doing this Aquarius rant. Anyway, people are, I took notes, y'all. Let me get my glass on. Thoughtless, short-tempered, biased, stupid, resistant, and cruel, and so much more. Vibrating really low. People abuse people, don't matter what age they are. And these horrible people exist everywhere too. They exist in the church. They exist in our own homes, in our own beds. They exist in political offices and doctor offices. They exist everywhere. They exist high and low. So, my point of saying that is because we act like we don't understand what's wrong with people today. The majority of people are egotistical and narcissistic, crude, rude, and everything else selfish. And remember, that prophetic message that I got in 2016 said, I'm going to transform your mind. Not only am I going to transform your mind, humanity, I'm going to transform your heart. And it's by any means necessary. Who was saying that to me? And all them other people in the world it was talking to at the same time. It was divinity. It was our creator, whoever that may be. Said, hey. And what am I saying? If you don't follow me, in 2016, I had a real live physical experience. It was a revelation. Received the revelation. And I received the revelation in conjunction with many, many other people in the world. And I'll tell you how many. I don't know how many. I could tell it was many people received the message simultaneously. You got to go locate that video. It's called A Prophetic Message. It's on my channel somewhere. You probably can go to my homepage and see that in my list. Y'all, I created a whole catalog of every video I made. And I got 2,052 videos that I made here on YouTube over the last 5 or 6 years. There are some that you cannot access because they're just old tarot readings of things, but everything else you can access. Let's see. The reason why I'm cussing and fussing about people, they spirits, who they really are. It's because, remember, I was just talking about how this system is dying and it's going to be resurrected. Right now, our system is like a scaffolding system. That's the last image I showed. The scaffolding system. Let me go back to this one. But understand, even though I'm going to the scaffolding system, I'm still talking about the building or renovation, is a good word, renovation of our core social constructs. So, yeah, I'm going to another image, but I'm still talking about this. The scaffolding, because the scaffolding is a temporary system. That's why I'm over here. Still talking about the core social constructs that are over the distribution of all the resources that people need to sustain their life. It is dying. So right now, there's a temporary system in place in which the New World Order is being constructed from. I was talking about people and their character, their behavior, their essence, their soul, their spirits. The majority are horrible, horrible people. But then there are good people. In short, there are good and bad people from the lowest to the highest. Okay, we got that. They are good and bad, mixture of all. But there are more bad people than good people. Bottom line. Reason why this is important. Who's constructing this scaffolding system that they're going to use to build our new world paradigm or our new world constructs? Who are they? The astrological energies at this point in time talk about those particular people. Of course, the astrological energies are talking about us all. But even though it talks about us all as co-creators to our reality, who's more important, I guess I could say? The person that's actually going to write a policy in government, or you sitting at home writing a recipe? Of course, it's the person in power that's going to write a new law, a new regulation, a new policy. So it really focuses on them. This is what the astrological energy says. So let me see. The astrological energy says, hey, be aware, people, humanity, that there are certain people that exist in your world that are already developing your new social structure. The new social structure, remember, consists of rules, regulations, policies, laws, about health, education, yada, yada, yada. Remember, it's being written by a particular type of people. I just wanted some popcorn now, and I ain't got no popcorn. I'm so upset. I'm going to let it go. So, let's see if I can articulate this. I don't know if I can. I can't, y'all. I just ask you to ride the wave with me. If you can't, then just order a personal reading with me. You can do so by contacting me at canangelsfly1@gmail.com, or you can just offer me financial support by Cash App me at $CanangelsFly Tarot. Anywho, I continue. So I want to talk about these people. The astrological energies. Let me stop. I've shared here on my channel before that it appears to me one moment that the stars are God speaking to us who people in humanity. And other times it seems as if the stars have been encoded by men in order for other men to decipher. And it goes back and forth between the two. This time, it seems like the stars have been encoded. It could have been encoded, the message, current message, seems like it could be encoded by God or by man. Sometimes it just really sound like God talking. Other times it seems like man talking. This time it could be either. Either. But it almost seems to me like if it's God talking, I don't know. If it's God, I need another pen. If it's God talking to man through the stars, he's letting you know that that was good. Y'all should have seen my hair the other day. Oh, shoot. My hair was a hot mess. This is a little better. Quarantine in a black woman's hair. Ooh-wee. Better learn to live natural. Anywho. Oh, this is an Aquarius rant. We're in quarantine, so you're at my house. I'm sharing my thoughts. I'm recording in my file. So, warning, I partake in my vices. I am a cigarette smoker. I'm not promoting cigarettes or partaking in any other vice. So, what am I going over now? I'm trying to figure out how to give you, to share with you what perspective this current astrological message came from. But I really can't quite discern. I'm not finished. I still got to go do it one more phase to see. But I'm not sure. But I'll say this. If it's God speaking to man, sending this message forth, it's letting you know how the powers that be think of you and I. And they think very lowly of us. If it is man who has encoded a message for other men to decode, then they're giving each other, it's been encoded that it's a time period to move. It's time right now to move. And the time to move to do what? Scaffolding. You should have your scaffold up so you can begin to build the new world order or the new paradigm. We should be deciding, the people that are in power should be deciding what social constructs will die, which ones will be resurrected, which ones will have reform, etc., etc. So, the first thing I want to point out about the message is that it says that it distinguishes that there are at least two groupings of people. And we've talked about these groupings of people before. As a matter of fact, I talked about one of the groups earlier when I said people just stupid. And so the astrological energies shows that there's two distinct groups. It's the sleep. It's the stupid. It's the uninterested, the unmoved, the morons, the brainwashed. It's that group. And because a person fits into that group in some way, they have particular behavior patterns that they're going to execute. That's to say, it's the blind leading the blind. It's people that can't do nothing if they wanted to do anything. It's the other ones that's just wrapped up in church. This is what the astrological energies are saying. I'm not saying it. I just interpret it. And then it's a second group. And that second group we've talked about before are those that have a higher intellectual capacity. They are masterful. They are experts. They are some geniuses. These are people that are highly aware, highly socially active, hold seats of power. They understand the power of their social role and their works. So, the message says, like, those dumb people over there, those sheeple, to be nice, they don't know that this is the time. They don't know what's going on. Um, they're confused. They lack understanding. They don't have clarity. They can't see. You know, they follow the wrong things, do the wrong things. So we people over here, the other group, the smart group, the intellectuals, the experts, the professionals, the people that sit in seats of power, know that it's time. And so we're putting up this scaffolding system in order to sustain those dummies over there. That's what we're doing. We're going to sustain the sheeple while we reform our world structure. Reforming the world structure. What does it look like? What does the new world order look like? Well, I haven't dived deeply into it, but I intend to. But what we know for certain is that the government, that social construct, that spiritual entity is dying, sick. For those that have a level of understanding and can see, also know that that system, that spirit being, that construct we call government, is going to be reformed and resurrected. That's one social construct that will be present in the New World Order. That particular construct right there, the government, will have new laws, policies, what do you call them, on a city level, ordinances, etc., in place. And it will govern the people. It will oversee their behavior, etc., and their social interactions. Once the government is fully revised, it will not be very reminiscent of what we have known our government to be thus far, but it will still stand and still be a descendant, I'll say, of what had become a very corrupt construct. It's like apple doesn't fall far from a tree. So when our old government gives birth to the new government, it will still be corrupted. Why? Because the sheeple will sleep. Because the sheeple were powerless. Because the sheeple didn't move. Try to make it sense. So that's one social construct. At this time, I want to dive off into another social construct that will be put in place during this New World Order. And it is technology. It's technology. Let me see. But before we go forward, I don't want you to get confused what I'm talking about. Remember, this is an Aquarius rant. The world is a whole different thing. We're not talking about the world. We're talking about the social construct that is on top of the world or around the world. Government, healthcare, people in their deviance, marriage. That's not the earth. The earth is a totally separate entity having its own separate experiences. This video is not about the earth. If you want to start contemplating about what the earth is going through, then you can locate my video called New Paradigm Living, Natural Disasters. Okay. So, let's see. We're talking about this social construct here, which is technology. This is symbolic of technology. If you're aware at this time, you may be aware that 5G is supposed to be on and popping. It's actually due to go online globally, meaning all around the world, this month and this year, April 2020. What does that look like in reality? In reality, it looks like this. Yeah. This gridded orb is what is outside our atmosphere. I think it may be in our, I don't forgot the order if it's stratosphere or troposphere, but it's out there in the heavens. It's a grid. It's a net. Remember, our world has been increasing in technology with leaps and bounds over the last 75 years. Well, we're here. We can put out in space in particular locations, satellites and different things like that. And what they've been doing all these years with shooting stuff into space and rockets and space stations is setting up this grid. It didn't happen overnight. They've been doing this for at least 75 years. And so they began to build this grid in order to carry the load of technology they who the people in power want to. Before I go further, I want to make sure that everybody is understanding what I'm saying. What am I talking about right now? I'm talking about just one of our social constructs over here. One of the social constructs, I'm snatching out this box. I'm snatching it out. See? I'm snatching it out. Is technology. Going over into the New World Order. What does that mean? See? Technology has existed, I know, since the 70s. The first time I seen a computer was in about 1979. First time I seen one. My cousin was married to somebody that was in some way in the technology field, and so he had access to the earlier computer systems where it was just, I think, DOS or something, where they were typing and all the words in. It was nothing like we got now, where we got all these pictures and images and pixels and stuff. It was just a bunch of words and commands and stuff, and he would just be sitting up there. He was so addicted. Well, he was a professional. They was trying stuff out or whatever he was doing, So what I'm saying is, it's been a lot of years that the technology has been in development, and so that was a part of the old paradigm, the old way of doing things, like DOS, and it was just being a chain of commands, constantly typing all these words. What was exciting about that? I didn't get it. I didn't get it, but that was for that time period. And then we had technology advance to where I talked about earlier in this live stream. There used to be payphones outside where you go stick a quarter in and call somebody. You could easily transmit the coronavirus that way, but that was outdated. It gave way to cell phones. Cell phones came in at the time. Actually, computers around that time with the big box phones that had a big bag you carried with them. They were called cellular phones or something like that, cellular devices, but they were really big. That gave way. It was outdated. And it gave rise to what we kind of know now, the more slimmer, compact cell phone with the black screen. Spiritual meaning. So, my point is saying, hey, technology has existed for the last at least 70 years plus. But we have technologically advanced. And we've been technologically advancing with leaps and bounds. Now, technological advancement is good. The Creator is okay with us technologically advancing. Technological advancement shows that we are beginning to understand this realm and why we're here. It helps us to be able to live more effectively, efficiently. And so technology is supposed to enhance the lives and the livelihood of everybody in humanity. But technology, too, has been governed by or infiltrated by corruptness. So here we are, moving from the old paradigm into the new paradigm. The grid is up. I've been talking about this grid forever. Being up there, I could see it. I didn't understand how people couldn't see it. Anyway, let's talk about this grid, 5G grid. It's not just that the 5G grid exists on land, on the earth, and the towers that everybody are talking about are scorching trees and, leading to other health issues in humans. It's not just here. It is also outside our atmosphere, this net that I talk about. There are satellites placed in strategic places that communicate with each other as well as communicate with the technology that's based here on this earth, such as the 5G towers. Okay. 5G. Due to be synced, come online and synced globally. That means on all 7 continents, including Antarctica. It says that the 5G promises there'll never be another drop call on your cell phone. There's going to speed up internet speeds, and you are guaranteed to be able to access the internet from anywhere in this world, any corner of the earth. That's what it says. But the 5G system is actually the Big Brother system in full effect. It is a tracking system of all living beings on the planet Earth at any given time from the moment it is booted up and on. The next thing is about the 5G technology. I forgot what I was about to say. Let me stop. Back to the coronavirus in relationship to technology. We're all at home. We are quarantined. We have nothing to do. It is part of human nature to want to do something or to have purpose, a reason to get up and go, to live. And being quarantined with people we don't like, don't love, don't respect, etc., is counterproductive to each of us. So, let's say. But this time period is not only necessary for us to see who we really are and how we are relating to others. It is also a time for us to begin to, promote technology. You're at home, you ain't got nothing to do, so you can do what? Get on YouTube and make up all kind of crazy videos. You can get on Facebook, touch base with people from on the other side of the world, because you get along better with them than you do with the same people in your house, own people in your house. So yeah, you get to touch base with them people that you really love, that you ain't never met on the other side of the world. Another thing is you get to choose to invest in some technology application or commodity, or buy some technology stock. What I'm saying, people sitting at home, they're getting in tune and in sync with this new technology that's taken to a whole nother level because of 5G. You got to comprehend, you got to catch it, what it means for 5G to go online. That means all our systems are synced up, all 7 continents synced up, hooked up to one brain. One brain. Matter of fact, I'm going to take my time. This is an Aquarius rant. They're not throwing me off alive today, so I'm really happy. Thank you, Jasper. Thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you for dropping by as well. So y'all, I'm on some other stuff. It's about to take me forever, I'm sure, to go through my stuff, my images. I don't even know if I hate, because let's see what I could talk about while I go through these images. Because I was fussing about people. Okay, let me see. What now? Oh, I can throw this in here right now. Okay. So I'm taking a break from what I was talking about to talk about something else. Why? Because I'm looking for something else. I'm looking for an image. So right now I want to talk about our current situation and the high probability that we're going to suffer catastrophic economic challenges. Economic collapse, especially in the United States. Actually, the economy all over the world is going to be shocked to shit, period. So, if our leaders had a righteous bone in their body, rather than try to pick up where we left off at the onset of this coronavirus, before this coronavirus, that is to say, hey, everybody was going to work. They was living from paycheck to paycheck, basically. There was a great divide starting to occur between the middle class and the upper class. The poor getting poorer and the richer getting richer. That's where we were. That's where we had been before this, trigger, the coronavirus, to this leading to this economic collapse. That's where we were. Where people weren't getting the health care that they need. The judicial system was biased, and just all kind of things. A lot of racial stuff going on, all kind of stuff. This is where we were, because people are horrible. People are horrible, and it doesn't matter what walk of life they are in. People are horrible. They're cruel. They're narcissistic. They're self-centered, self-serving, etc., etc. I could go on, because that's what divinity was saying. It wasn't me. It was divinity. Let me see how far I am. Will this work? Yeah, it'll work. So this is what I was looking for, y'all. Wow. Can you get up there? Boom. Do you look good there? Or would you look better over here? Maybe over here. Boom. Let's see. And if you fall off the picture either way, huh? And put it right there. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna do it like that. Do it like that. Do it like that. Okay. So what I was gonna talk about was if our powers that be had any good intentions for the future of humanity, this is a time, since everything is kind of messed up, this is a great time to restart, a reboot, a true restart and reboot. I do personally believe without a true restart and full reboot, we're still descending down the hell that's in the future of humanity, which will be revealed in the future of humanity. What do I mean by a full restart or reboot? I'm saying, hey, since the economy is blown, just have debt forgiveness. Don't forgive just my debt of the $80,000+ I owe to the universities. Don't just forget that. Don't just forget all the debt I owe all these credit card places. Don't forget just that debt. I ain't talking about just forgiving whatever you owe out. Don't just forget that. Forget all that. But also, China, forget that the United States owe you $11 billion. I mean, what is it? $1,100 billion? Forget that. And whoever else, total debt forgiveness. The next thing it seemed to me if we really wanted to move to bring a heaven-like state on this world um, into fruition, is to understand that um, diversity does matter in this context. How maybe cultural diversity does matter. That is to say, hey, we just can't travel as an American citizen. I can't just get up and say, well, I'm going to China and I'm just going to move to China and live there without going through the appropriate means and all that kind of stuff, appropriate processes. No, I was born here in America, so I'm an American. This is my base, my residence. This is where my culture has come spawned from. And that's the same thing for people in the Netherlands or China. Or you got to understand that you can't just get up and go wherever. That's to say, if you're born in a region, it will be noted that you're from that region. You will live and work in that region. How can I say this? Our current construct allows us to be born in one region and go to another. There's nothing wrong with that. We can keep that system. But my thing is just the common people, the sheeple, some people believe they should just be able to get up and go wherever they want to go when they want to go. It shouldn't be no boundaries. Yes, there has to be boundaries for different reasons. This is what I'm saying. The people in power know that we're not very smart. Many of us aren't. The truth of the matter is, based on what region you're born in, determines a lot about your makeup. An example is certain fruits or vegetations cannot just be transported from one region of the world to the other because the bug life, the pestilence are different. You know what I'm saying? What one bug exists in one region could be devastating or lead to a plague in another region. And it's the same thing with people. So what I'm saying is that we have to realize that will still have to be regulated. Now, this is the perfect utopia as far as I'm concerned. This is the cup half full in relationship to what we're going through. Let's be alchemists. Here, alchemists. So, we're alchemizing, I made that word up, alchemizing our reality. If the powers that be truly had a heart, if they truly cared for humanity and the future of humanity, it would be debt forgiveness from the lower to the higher levels. It wouldn't matter. Nobody owe nobody anything, nor ever will. The next thing is for the people to understand that we have to have that cultural diversity, and to understand why we must have cultural diversity. Not to say that we can't mix and mingle, because we must mix and mingle. But people need to understand that there still has to be regulations surrounding that. The next thing is it should be education for everybody. K through 12 and beyond. It's that beyond part. See, when I was coming up, I really believed all I could do was go to college. I didn't know that I could go off and get training in under a year and I wouldn't have to be broke now. You know what I'm saying? And owing the gov all the money I owe them for school. I didn't know that then. I know it now. So, what am I saying? It should be around the whole world. It should be free education to anybody that wants it. And higher education, it should be made very clear to people, hey, you only need higher education for certain things. You may need higher education if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, where it's more in depth, it's more intricate, it's more personal to another. And then it should be a second pathway people can travel and know they can travel. And that's what they call it, trades. See, they didn't make it. When I came up, I knew about trades, but I didn't comprehend trades from the perspective of, hey, these are survival techniques. Buildings, being a masonry, a bricklayer, those kind of things. Different stuff like that. Or, I don't know, talking about trades, a painter or a pipe worker or being a farmer. See, these kind of things were removed in order to control the people. We're going to go there in a minute. So I'm talking about the utopia. At this point in time, right now, if our powers that be had a heart, this is what they would do. 1, debt forgiveness. 2, make it clear to the world that we must have, what do you call it? We must regulate cultural, the mixing of the different cultures, and not just people, foods, everything, and why. People need to understand that. And then the next thing is education for all. It is, when you get to higher level, not costing. You can go where you want to go and do what you're going to do. We're going to teach you, because we got to pass this information along for the future. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you can go the professional route or you can go the trades route, it's up to you, moving forward. Another thing is, that if they were, again, substance as needed. In the Bible, in the King James Version Bible, it talked about, I do believe, when who was it that left Egypt? It's been a long time since I've been on church. But when the slaves left out of Egypt, they were in the wilderness with Moses, or however the story go. And the people were hungry. And God fed the people, the masses, with, I think it was called myrrh or Mecca or something, I don't know. Some little rice stuff or whatever it was fell from the sky, and they fed them for a day. The whole thing is to only consume what you need in the moment. And that's what, if our powers that be had the mindset of, is to make sure that all the natural, to my food, when I say natural resources, a person needs is distributed to them in a timely manner to sustain their life. And not try to, limit what a person can eat. We know now what we can consume. And so those things should still be, accessible. But I think we need to be more conscious about what we access as far as food. And this is coming from an obese woman. Maybe killing animals is not the right thing, So we need to, figure something out about that. And that's the crazy part about this life, is that it has potential for heaven, but it is also hell. It is hell when you understand the concept that your own survival depends on you killing another species or something like that in order to survive. That's a whole nother video. So I'm not going to try to attack that. But we need to be more conscious about the foods that we consume, the foods that we produce, and the distribution of them. Most people, especially in the United States, have at least a reasonable surplus of food. And I say that because it's to share that it's enough food to go around. We can maybe process it a little slower, trim down the things that we know we consume, pull back from them. These are the kinds of things our powers that could really take in consideration and execute at this time for our New World Order. Because we're going to be doing having new paradigm living. That could be a part of new paradigm living, a new diet. Okay. The next thing is healthcare. Healthcare to all, everybody in the world. Remember, nobody owns this mother-sucking place. Nobody. We were all put here, planted here, born here, whatever the case is. We all have equal, we have all been given equal rights to the substance of this world. And therefore, anything that spuns from it, which is health care. What am I saying? I'm saying the earth itself is a self-contained ecosystem. Every medicine that's been created, every machine that has been created, every technological advance that has been made came from earth one way or another. I don't care if somebody figure out how to make a machine. They themselves are from the earth. And their intelligence comes from their relationship coming from the earth. Everything that they make a machine with or a medicine with comes from the earth. They don't own any of it. So the way it was meant to be is any technological advancements made in this world was supposed to enhance the life of all human beings on it at any given time. Where we're here now, relative to medical, keeping with my discussion, that we can cure certain things. Anybody should be able to access that. So I'm trying to keep it short. If the powers that be had a heart, this is a time when our system comes back up. Because remember, right now, there's a scaffolding. They're building a new construct. What I'm saying is right now, what is scaffolding is up. These are the things that can be put in place. Redefine the world's diet based again on region, culture, slim it down so we won't be so taxing and demanding on the world and other creations. Education is first and foremost. It is necessary because a person must learn how to live in this world and to strive in this world. We do need experts. We need doctors and different things like that. That has to be handed down, but it should be free. I'm talking about healthcare. Healthcare for all, universal healthcare. Everybody has an equal right to be taken care of. What else? Food, equal right to it. But this system that took 3,000 years went corrupt, and they began to charge for everything. But the original system, which the pyramid, the video I made talking about what is a pyramid, that's what it explains, the establishment of our system. The pyramid is symbolic of the social structure that was being put in place in order to ensure the successful distribution of all life-sustaining resources to everybody in humanity at any given time. The top of the pyramid represents those that hold the seats of power, that sit around and figure out what's going to be extracted from the earth and distributed to whom, where, when, what, how. What will help us advance in technology. They bring all the discoveries to the table. The people at the bottom did what? They farmed, they harvested, and they fed the rest of the pyramid. They built the homes, and because there are requirements for everybody, no matter where you are in the system, no matter if you're at the top of the triangle or the bottom of the triangle, you're not going to escape. It is inevitable. It is definite that you must adhere to the rules of this realm. You will sleep and awake. You will eat and drink. You will defecate and urinate. You will breathe and whatever else we must do. You must do. Who talking about me? My ear just started itching. So anyway, all right. So anyway, I was talking about if the leaders of this world had a heart, what they would do, at this time, because we are, our whole world is being reconstructed. But trust and believe, even though I'm sharing what is the right thing to do, they're on a whole another page. Because what? They're still corrupt. Because what? Most men are evil, narcissistic, egotistical, self-centered, yada, yada, yada. That's not me. That's Divine talking back in 2016. So, anywho, what else will they do? And there would have to, and this is another thing. Other things that would be free to the people that create humanity at any given time is birth and burials. It's inevitable. These are requisites of life, to be born and to die. So why are we being charged for hospital bills for people being born as well as dying? Let's see. I don't want to talk about that. I'm going to talk about this in a minute and put a circle around it. Oh my God, my ear is itching. I know I need an allergy pill. I can feel it coming on. So, determine. Okay, talked about that. What I want to talk about, now I need to talk to humanity. Okay. I need to talk to humanity. Remember, I was saying humanity has to understand that our locations do matter, and our movement over this earth has to be regulated, even in the most perfect utopia. So, still talking to humanity, moving to continue to talk to humanity once again, which is each individual that creates humanity at this time is I was about to talk about universal income, and purpose. So, all that I've talked about is all good. And I'm sure many are saying it's easier said than done. What do I mean? Let me see if I can articulate it effectively. What do I mean? Easier said than done, I know. Is that in order for, even for the utopia to happen, we all have to play our roles. Our old system is not going to be restored. It's never going to be like we remembered it. If the powers that be had a heart, they would implement the things that I'm talking about, like free education, no matter what level. Universal health care. There would be a universal income, a basic universal income for all, and so much more. And what I'm talking about is, let's take a look at the population, especially United States population, for this part of my Aquarius rant. The United States population is broken up into different brackets. Like, there are people that are professionals, doctors, lawyers. They are accredited holding professionals or experts. Then there's just the working class that may work for one of the constructs. You may work for the criminal justice system. You may work for the police department. You may work for, one of our systems, or you could be a person that works for the education department. Another grouping of people in the United States with a primary focus, but this is around the world, is you could be a person that works from home. You may have your own business or be your entrepreneur, a freelancer, or whatever the case may be. Or you could be elderly and getting or retired or disabled. Then there are people that are on welfare and people that are homeless and things like that. So I think it's different groupings of people. Why do people work? Why do people put forth all of that energy to become an expert? This world has made us all sinful or corrupt. And what am I saying? I'm saying a lot of times the only reason people might go be a doctor is because they just want to make more money. Or they might be a lawyer because they want to make more money. They want to make the big money. They want to maximize their efforts. Why work 40 hours a week and earn $400 when I can make 40 hours? If I work 40 hours, I could be making $4,000 an hour. As an attorney or a psychiatrist, or you know what I'm saying? So they want to maximize their profit margin so they can have a good lifestyle. And then there's other people that, for one reason or another, choose to work for the government. Maybe they don't want to go to that extreme. Maybe their life has not allowed them to go to that extreme. But they acquired the basic high school education, maybe college, associates, bachelor's, whatever is required, and they got a government job or whatever the case may be, and they can earn a reasonable amount to have a reasonable life, put a roof over their head, have the basics, do some traveling, buy some clothes, and most people at that level kind of keep up fronts. They be fronting, keeping up with the Joneses because they living, most of them, paycheck to paycheck. They really finding that out now after the government shut down and all this essential worker having to work whether the government opened up, money being made, flowing or not. So, it's them. And then there's people that's on fixed incomes. They done worked all their life, retired, getting their little pension, find out that's not enough. Or people that's disabled just because they was born unable-bodied or unable man. You know what I'm saying? And then it's the homeless that don't even have a roof over their head. They may have a little disability check or something, but they don't have much that they can depend on. And the reason why I bring that up is because I forgot. Y'all know I got old people problems, but I'm going somewhere with this, y'all. I'll remember in a minute. As I'm talking about people's responsibility, understanding the social construct. Why do people work? Most people work because they want to earn enough to have a comfortable life. Then some people work because they just need something to do. But then there are others. This is how it's supposed to be. Is people work because they like it. Some people became doctors because they understood the significance of saving lives. They understood what this world offered and how if we found the right puzzle pieces, they could cure stuff. And so it was this passion. Other people became poets because they could see the words, the joy it brings, or how it can aid somebody through going through a particular life experience, accompany them as they go through a different life experience. What I'm saying, many people choose their careers because it's their passion. Other people, I've noticed, are just kind of shimmied into particular social roles. Some people become a doctor because their father or their grandfather was a doctor, or their father or their grandfather was a lawyer, their mama, auntie was nurses, or their daddy and whatever was in the military, so they follow along and they just kind of shimmy into it. They may not have a passion for it, make over time gain a respect for it because it allows them to make a certain level of money. They may find some social pull or affluence, different things like that. And the reason why I bring that up, because humanity, remember, something is saying, y'all not smart people. Y'all not smart beings. Something wrong with y'all. I'm not saying that. That's what divinity been saying since 2016, as well as people that sit in the seat of power. I would never say that. But those different sources are saying, y'all not the smartest bunch out here. You're not the smartest cookies in the jar. And so what am I saying? I say, like humanity, you have to brighten up and become aware that you must contribute to our reality. You cannot sit idly by. You have to move to become proficient in your area of expertise, your field of interest, and become an expert so that you can contribute it into the world. Let me see if I can say this. Even if we were to begin to move to build the perfect utopia, a heaven here on earth, it still will require us to work. We would still need our farmers. We would not only need the farmers, but we would need them to work in conjunction with what they call Monsanto. Would that put them out of business? See, Monsanto has the technological advancements that the old typical common farmer needs. They need to collaborate. Why? Because there are 7.5 plus billion people in the world that must meet the requirement of eating as well as drinking. So, if the powers that be really had a heart, they would know that the farmer must be put back on their farm, given their land and given their seed. But the farmer would know that they still have to work with Monsanto because they got the technological advancements, that information. So many levels to this. Because all that big corporate billion-dollar money could no longer exist. It would be a basic, universal income for all, no matter how high or how low you sit. Period. Because it's never was supposed to be about fashion or what do you call it, the fabulous life with the yachts and the mansions and the stilettos and the Cristal and the Dom Perignon and it was never supposed to be about that. Just indulgence. And I want to stop here. I'm probably going to forget what I was talking about, but I got to throw this in here. Living that extravagant life. The life of the rich and famous. Living the life of the rich and famous. Yeah, that show. Yeah, the life of rich and famous. And pay attention. I'm going to tell you how corrupt our system is and has been for some time. Now, all of those various businesses and corporations and everything, the people that had those really great jobs. That's been over the last 80 years or so. But then people that had them good jobs, they made good money. And they bought big houses. And they bought big cars. And they traded them cars and every 2 years. And they passed their cars down to their kids. This is the truth. See, we don't want to look at the truth about who we are as people. And I'm talking to all people. It don't matter what race or nationality you are. We don't want to look at the truth. This is the truth. This is what was happening. That them people had the best jobs. They had learned about this realm. They were doing scientific experimentations. They was doing everything. They was getting paid. They were vacationing. Hawaii, Caribbean, Alaska. I mean, they was doing it, sending all their kids to college. People was living their life, baby. They was buying their wives big rings, big houses with all the furniture, maids, all kind of stuff. Excuse me. I almost made it, y'all. I think that was my first curse word for the night. I'm doing good. So, my whole point is people was living big and fabulous. But those people that were our experts over the last 80 years, as they went through their careers, they became aware of how each of these corporations, what they were cooperating, the various constructs or aspects of our lives or whatever the industry was. They knew it wasn't sustainable. This is the crazy part. They knew it wasn't sustainable. They didn't just discover it wasn't sustainable. They knew it wasn't sustainable. They knew that it would be detrimental to the earth. We ain't talking about the constructs that I'm talking about now. No, we're just talking about, let me show y'all so y'all understand. They knew that it was not sustainable overall, nor was it sustainable to the earth. They knew it. So that first generation that was really living a best extravagant life and truly, advancing in technology and different things like that, and benefiting from extracting all the natural resources and hoarding them and doing all the scientific experimentation, having the hypothesis, the theories, and doing whatever they was doing, going to outer space, putting stuff in the moon. They already knew. Anyway, that generation lived and died out. They lived their best lives and they brought up another generation. That generation was equally as intelligent and made even more advancements. They also knew that none of this was sustainable, but they kept persevering. At the time, they began to know about creating the natural disasters from constantly wreaking havoc on the earth. They knew it. They also knew, let me tell you how conscious these people were. They also knew that the system, put it all back in place. The construct itself, I'm supposed to be over here when I'm fussing about this. The construct itself was not going to stay. They knew it was going to collapse a long time ago. So that second generation, as well as their offspring, which was the third generation, is usually the people that we know now, at least I'm aware of and witnessing in my experience now, told them, hey, you know what, we kind of need to downsize. We done built mansions and we done built mansions, we done made yachts, we done bought islands, we done live ghetto fabulous. They ain't just live ghetto fabulous, they live fabulous, right? So, oh Lord, we need to downsize. Because when this stuff goes south, when the social construct collapses, begins to decay and collapse, it's going to be all out. What is it? Anarchy and all kind of stuff. They knew it. And we have evidence of how they knew it, because all of a sudden these same people that had these enormous houses and cars and they would have multiple cars, but they got RVs, they would travel. You would see these people everywhere doing everything. I'm paying for my child's wedding. They had the fabulous life. And then remember their descendants. So they now begin to talk about preaching. They begin to preach the minimalist life. Y'all, people like these different sources, I would never say, y'all stupid. You stupid. You look in these people's faces and you cannot tell who's who and what's what. Now, for the younger generation, I'm not too let down by that inability to identify who's who, because they don't have a point of reference. But when you get closer and closer you get to my age, which is 50, you got more years behind you. I mean, you got more points of references, and you can see. These people sit up now and preach the minimalist life. They came out of those big houses. They came out of the condensed cities to go into remote areas for a time such as this, leaving you here with a person like me. So I'm going to let that go, because I get the cussing, fussing. So I was talking about, if the powers that be had a heart, as well as humanity. What was I trying to get to when I was doing all that cussing and fussing and ranting? Because that's what I do. And this is an Aquarius rant. I was trying to share how it is important for us to understand that we still must work. It's mandatory in order to make sure that every individual that exists on this world at any given time gets the resources that they need to sustain them for the time period that they're here in the highest of quality. We must work. We still must be fishermen. We still must be able to farm, and we must harvest these things, and we must process these things, and we must distribute these things. So we have to have workers. And I'm not saying that you won't be working in order to get enough money to buy the riches and the treasures of this world. That won't be your purpose of working in a perfect utopia. Your purpose of working in a perfect utopia is because the utopia wouldn't even exist. That you nor any other human would exist if you didn't go to work and fish. If you didn't make a garden or a farm. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't go out and continue to investigate and research and scientifically and technologically advance, we wouldn't be here. And so you follow your passion, whatever it is. You become a master at it, and you do what it do, and you contribute it to humanity. That's the perfect utopia. And for those that just don't have the intellectual capacity to do any of that, how could you ask them to do anything? They ain't got it. Well, they get their universal income too. And they buy into all these resources to help sustain their life. That's it. Perfect utopia. But that's the utopia. Okay. Now, I want to come back here to this world and um, the new paradigm. You know, this is the world. There's a net around it, and that net is 5G. You know, 5G is in the atmosphere, in the stratosphere. It's 5G is also mounted here on this earth. Everything is syncing up all over the world, just like you see that multicolored grid over the earth. It's linked up all over the earth. That is the sum of this linkage is this brain. It's our brain. It's the brain. It's the brain. That's what you must understand. This 5G represents. It is the brain. The brain of what? I can't even imagine what they have holding this consciousness. I have no idea. What do these people have holding this consciousness? I don't know. Let's go this way. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to put the brain up there so you can see it. What do the powers that be have holding this consciousness? What consciousness? It is our consciousness. The 5G truly has a brain. And the brain is our consciousness. It's just not mine and yours and mine. It is everybody in this world consciousness that has ever used any form of technology. It is not just our consciousness. When I say our, I'm talking about people that create humanity at this point in time in the history of humanity. It's everybody that's ever existed in the history of humanity's consciousness, all uploaded to one brain. What am I saying? I'm saying any information we know about Lucy, the Neanderthal, the caveman, it's all uploaded to that brain. Any song by Mozart and Wolfgang Puck is loaded up to that brain. Anything I know that I speak of, that I talk about, is uploaded to that brain. Anything that you think of, talk about, compose, create, is uploaded to that brain. This is 5G, the 5G system, synced globally and online. May, what's this? April 2020. So, come on, little bang, you got to, or the lighting chain. Which way does wig go? This braids, y'all. I'm still a wig. I lost my pen or something. I'll put that there. Okay. I did something wrong. So anyway, so let's talk about this one construct. What construct are we talking about? We're talking about technology. The category is deeper or longer than just technology. All I can remember is the technology part. So we're talking about a new world order coming into existence. Remember, right now nobody's getting out. We all quarantined to home, and so we finding stuff to do. And what we're finding, most of us, is that we're gravitating toward computers and our smartphones and iPads and things, and we're logging onto the internet. We're partaking in the various amusements, I'll say, online. And so what I'm saying is comprehend how we are being, our minds are being redirected. Our minds are being reframed or what do you call it? Where the synapses are reorganized, or what is it called? I can't remember. The synapses in the brain are being rewired. Being outside and playing basketball and running or jogging or hanging out for the summer, going on a cruise. The synapses in your brain is different. Now we're inside, closed in, with our primary escape is onto the internet or the imaginary world, the virtual world. The synapses in our brains are being trained. And so technology, what we're being introduced, what is happening is we're being introduced to the new level of technology. Our synapses in our brains are being restructured to be able to be in sync with this technology. An example of what will occur in the new paradigm is cryptocurrency. Let me stop here. Coronavirus. I was at the store yesterday, standing at the counter with money in my hand. But I'm looking around at everybody wearing gloves and face masks and all kind of stuff. And I'm sitting up here, I was like, how stupid are we? How stupid are we? I got this fistful of money. And this money that came from everywhere all over the world with droplets and aerosol cough sprays on them. And I got all this money that I'm running around town buying tissue and toilet paper with and food with. I play my lottery because y'all know I play the lottery too. So I got this money. I say ain't nobody got no problem with that money. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got no problem with that money. They ain't threw that money down. What am I saying? I said money is a very potentially a means to transport the virus or to spread the virus. But we still use it. We access it every day. But yeah, we got gloves and masks on, but money laying around the house and change jars. There's all kind of stuff. It just doesn't make any sense. So anyway, that was the thought I had. And I said, oh, so that means then that one of the next things that has to be said is that they found, y'all watch y'all Facebook feed and everything, they found money with the coronavirus on it. Or they found that the spread of coronavirus is being amplified by the exchange of money. We must get rid of money now. Now. Here's cryptocurrency. Here's the rise of cryptocurrency. I was like, wow. Yeah, right. Remember, this net up here, this 5G thing, is a global, it's a tracking system. It tracks everything on this land mass called Earth. Everything. And it also will track your money. Eventually, we know it'll be about the distribution of the money that you're found eligible for. In this corrupt system, not the utopia when I speak of. So, here we have cryptocurrency coming out as well. And I talked about it earlier in this live stream. It's just not cryptocurrency that we're looking at on the rise. We're looking at buying stocks in Amazon and Skype and different, I don't know what you call them, platforms like that. Not platforms, apps. I don't know what they're referred to. But, buying into those as stocks and bonds. As stocks, like stocks. So what am I saying? I'm saying, hey, we are moving into the new paradigm and this new world order. This new world order will be regulated by this 5G system. It will be governed. This is the ultimate governing force in a new paradigm over this new world order. This is, as biblical people say, God manifest on earth. This is God's kingdom come. Its intelligence is supreme because it's all of every human and every experience that has ever existed in the history of humanity. God on earth. And it governs everything. And it is an intricate part of our life. We can't live without our cell phones, our laptops, etc., etc. But trust and believe, it's going to be a period, I don't know when, that we're going to all be detached from this technology so we can see how much it hurts. We each will get to see how much it hurts when you're not able to suckle. Oh, mama. Watch. Mark my words. You heard it first here. Angels Fly, Tarot, and more. So, I was going somewhere. Let me see. I want to talk about the cryptocurrency as far as... Okay, yeah, I did that. And I know that I'm going to get off of here. And I'm like, I forgot to talk about that. Oh, I guess I'll end this live stream. I'm going to try to finish talking about the technology if I can remember. But what I was doing was talking about a particular social construct that is being revised in the new paradigm. And because of this, now we're talking about what I coined new paradigm living. Because the system is in place and is governing, we will live a new way, new paradigm living. We won't have paper money. Why? Because it might spread the coronavirus or other similar viruses or bacteria. So we will have cryptocurrency, new paradigm living, meaning we may have to get our, what they talk about, the little thing in their hand, the little cut they're going to put in the hand and the injection with the, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Or wherever they're going to put it at. As long as they put some money on it for me, I'm okay. But you know what I'm saying? So that's new paradigm living. Because in past times, we had money in our pocketbooks, our wallets. We walk up with all the contaminated money. We buy what we want to buy. You know what I'm saying? But now, new paradigm living, you're going to walk up and you're going to just, what they say, tap. I had something the other day. One of my cards, I didn't even know it was I could tap it. I thought it just had the chip. You know what I'm saying? First we went from slide to chip to tap. Next, you're going to just tap your hand. You know what I'm saying? People talk about it's the mark of the beast. I don't think that's the mark of the beast. But teachers remember, no conspiracies here. Angels Fly, Tarot, and more. So, I'm going on. So that's new paradigm living. New paradigm living is seeing the opportunity in buying stocks like with Amazon or Google or I don't know, Facebook. I don't know who got stocks where, but you know, buying stocks with Walmart and Target or whatever survives this this period, you know. And that's new paradigm living, because in the old paradigm, when the markets first got set up, when our system was being set, different parts of our system was being set up in the past, people were buying natural commodities, real commodities, raw commodities. I don't even know what they call it. Like wheat, you know, oil, flour. I don't know what it is. Wheat, flour, same thing. Pig belly, say pork bellies and stuff, orange juice. Those are real natural commodities. Why did people buy stocks in those? It's because they knew God dang well those things weren't going nowhere, not never. Because they what? A natural reoccurrence to this self-contained ecosystem. They also knew that people needed them. They had to have food. They had to eat. They had to meet the requisites of life. They had to eat and drink. And if they didn't, they would die. So yeah, they invested in them things and how much they could pull. They could excavate, harvest, or whatever, and store up and get distributed to the people. So yeah, they put their money there to make sure that was the case. And got some, what do you call it? Some money back on that. I can't think what it called. You know what I'm saying? Return on that. But with these various systems, you know how often have you had to buy a laptop? Right now, I'm pissed off. I got about 3 laptops up in there. They all within 2 years apart. This one is 2, 4, 6, 8. So I'm going like 8 years back. And nothing was wrong with them. It's just that I did not update and buy, like once the security stuff ended, I didn't buy the new security. I've been to spend $100 for 2 years security. As long as that security in place on my laptop, the laptop worked fine. But once that thing expired, they ask you, do you want to buy it? It's time to renew. I'd be like, nope, I ain't going to do it. I can't keep giving y'all $100, $200, whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? After they give you 6 months to a year, they kill that. They would kill them laptops. They would just go down for no reason. They brand new. The outside cases still look brand new. Not a thing is spilled to them, not anything. And it happens to every single laptop I get, so I'm waiting for this one. So if you're ever interested in offering me any financial support, you can feel free to do so by Cash Apping me. My Cash App name is $ Can Angels Fly Tarot. Thank you. Every little bit helps. So anyway, I was cussing and fussing. This is an Aquarius ranch. Y'all know that's what I do. So let me get back here. So that was the old paradigm. Investing in real commodities. Now, the mind state of people, remember, our brains are being rewired, is to invest in these different, like I was talking about, to invest in the virtual world. Invest in a virtual world, something that's not real. So we're getting lost. This new paradigm is helping us to, leading us to get lost or further separated from nature, from nature, from the natural, from the norm. Anyway, I was about to say something else about technology. And technology is a wonderful thing. But remember, the whole system is corrupt. It's the spirit. See, when I talk about corruption, I'm not just talking about the people. I'm talking about the spirit, the essence of the spiritual being is corrupted now. Due to its creators, which is men that are in power. You see, men that are in power have become corrupt. They are the creators or the orchestrators to the creation of these spiritual beings. What spiritual being? This one. That's one right there. This is a spiritual being that will be animated by anybody who's a human on earth. We think, it thinks our thoughts. It regurgitates our thoughts. It remixes them, and it will suggest it back to us. With the phones, we are the blood and the pulse. Every time we tick, it ticks. Its pulses go off. We are it. If we stop using technology right now, they could put this system up and it would never fire nan neuron. So people fussing about 5G. Let me tell you what's going on. I know YouTube gonna block this one. We people fussing about these 5G towers, and they're very disgruntled. But the reality is that spiritual being is not fully alive. Only thing we have to do is stop using our technology, and it dies. No more 5G. But can we? We love it. We're addicted. It's God manifest here on earth. So if a person was to say, I know people don't listen to me, but if a socially acceptable expert came up and said, hey, don't use your smartphones, don't use your smart TVs, don't use your smart house or whatever else you got attached to that system, and 5G will never work. They may follow it then. But if we don't do what is required now, once 5G is up and running, the next level is, y'all have seen the evidence here even on YouTube. The next level is when the whole spiritual being is up, then comes like the android or robotic beings or animals like dogs or security. It can be ran by this brain. This brain gonna know how to think, how to move. It's gonna know our moves, etc., etc. And so human beings ain't gonna have to do anything else anymore. They only need one or two to make sure the system stays up and running. Make sure the military will make sure this system is protected. Could you imagine if the God that we were taught about in church really came to earth? And he came in all his glory, with nobody stepped to him in all his glory. Of course, there'll be some dumbasses that might try. But when God showed himself in all his glory, he had a big army before him. You have to go through all of the army, all of the people before you get to God in His glory. Same thing. Same thing. So what am I saying? I'm saying in the future, this is the distant future, the time is going to come that this corrupt spiritual being is going to do a what they call it, a 180 on humanity. It's going to turn up. It's going to become the devil's card. It's going to become Satan. And along the way, people going to see it. And they be like, I'm against the AI. I'm against the AI. It's going to be too late. It's going to be too late. Because it's going to be a self-sufficient system. Just like this earth is a self-contained ecosystem. It takes care of itself. It feeds itself. That's the same future for this system. For it to be a self-sustaining system. Meaning it will govern itself. It will protect itself. When man no longer wants to deal with it, it will have a mind of its own. And they've been telling us this. You can see it all in movies. You can see, again, the technological dogs with the AI dogs and different people like that. And what's that thing named Sophia? You see it. They've been telling you. What about the movie with, what is it? AI? AI with the little Home Alone boy in it? No, it wasn't Home Alone boy, y'all. Who was? But you know the movie AI. Or what about Will Smith? What was that movie Will Smith was in with iRobot or something like that? They've been telling you. They mean it. They mean it. Now, I'm not trying to take you to the movies. You know what I'm saying? But if you think about it, push all the movies back from you. If you really think, oh, yeah, I got to move on from this. If you really think in advance, if you can plan and strategize, then you can see where it's going. You don't have to refer to the movies. Why I gotta stop? Because eventually I gotta end this live stream. But what I said just then, having to strategize. Back to the astrological energies that talk about them old dumb people, them sheeples, versus the people that got some common sense, some professionalism, some expertise, some wisdom. That this time period is when they're collaborating. It's like a smart person, a professional person, can't stand to be around a dumb motherfucker. I didn't survive. I didn't make it. I'm sorry. They can't stand it. Cause this is, I gotta get dramatic. This is it on this side? Yeah. This is the time. I don't have time to be around no dummies. I need people that's vibing high like me. And they are visionaries and they already know. Strategy. Coming back, y'all. The reason why I want to end the live stream here is because this is really important. What the astrological energies are saying, it's saying, hey, there's a group of very smart people in your world. And again, those smart people on different levels and in different walks of life. We're going to focus on a particular group. And that particular group is the ones that's really going to create our social structure. They already know what the new paradigm constructs are going to be. They already know how you're going to have to adjust yourself to live in accordance with them. They already know how your new paradigm living going to look. You don't. And that's what the astrological energy is saying. It's like, y'all don't even see what's going on right before your eyes. Right now, during during April and as well as May, and remember I talked about in the last live stream, it's this invisible hand of man. People, put it like this, it's people behind the scenes that you ain't aware of, that already know, they can see the plan, the bigger picture, they are strategizing. What do I mean by they planning, they strategic, they see the bigger picture? Remember, this whole project here began at least 80 years ago. It took, and it may be longer than that, but I'm just kind of looking at history, and I don't see any technology 100 years ago, but I'll have to take a closer look. But technology even 100 years ago played into parts of the steps, like lights, moving from candles to lights, to now we got screens, screens like that. Or it could be wiring, or laying, what do you call it? Not wiring. What is it called? I can't think of it. Anyway, um, so my whole point is, well, so I'm gonna give it 100 years. To be honest, it took 100 years for them to develop this God on earth. 100 years. And this particular construct is technology. But remember, underneath that, there's other constructs within it. All the other constructs that will be resurrected during this new world order that we're in are going to be plugged in. Is this one? It's going to be plugged into that. So what am I saying? If the criminal justice system comes back, which it will, it's a part of the government, it just be revised, written new rules, ordinances, or whatever. It's going to be plugged into the system as well. It's one brain. Everything is feeding in one brain. If the educational system is brought back up and revised, it will be part of this system as well, plugged in. The financial institution will be plugged in. This is God on earth. It is overseeing all aspects of life. So this will be the supreme, where the government used to be like the supreme construct. No. Now, in this new paradigm, in this new world, this God on earth, this 5G system is the supreme construct. And under that construct, everything else cascades. Bottom line. So we have to go within or underneath this grid or veil that's over the earth to find the other constructs and to visit each of them separately. Have an intimate visit with each of those our constructs separately, like education. And what would education look like? Will education, as far as being in a building, be outdated? And the only education you can get is either homeschooling and or online. And what does it consist of? What does it look like? Okay. What about family matters? This is where the world is going. You know, they're saying that the world's population is too large. So what are they going to do to move to stop this the expansion of this world population? Because what do they call it? Exponently? Can't think of the word. Where it starts to multiply. You know, we're at 7.5 plus, I know it's more, y'all, billion people in the world. And so that's going to grow with leaps and bounds. So what do we do? Since they're already saying there's too many people in the world, we're overpopulated, abortion. So it's going to be rules about abortion or forced abortion or sterilization. See, me, since I was younger, when I was young, I wouldn't even have kids if they had followed my rules. Who? My doctor. I believed in sterilization from a young age. I really did. Technology has advanced in such a way that people can be sterilized. And if they decide to have children, consciously decide to have children, are in a line of work, that is contributing, and if the world can handle the load, they can be, they can have work done on them to reverse the sterilization. What do you call it? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Sterilization. I think that you should have a license to have children. I really do. And it could be just for a certain time frame. It doesn't have to be forever and always. It could be maybe 10 years. No giving birth for 10 years because the world's population is too big. Really, if that's the issue. But these are the kind of things that I believe that we're going to be dealing with over the next 50 years. It was something else I want to talk about. Anyway, what was I just talking about? I was trying to dive off into another social construct to show the changes that will take place during this new world, in this new world. And we'll have to adjust our lifestyles accordingly, new paradigm living. An example I was given, hey, this new world is going to have to deal with population reduction. How do they do that for the long haul? And I was saying, hey, sterilization, that's new paradigm living. New paradigm living says, well, we will not have kids for 10 years, like in a census period. 10 years, no. We got to let whoever's on the earth live and die out, you know what I'm saying? And then every 10 years we'll come in and y'all can have some babies, for a set amount. It's got to be something, because it is a lot of people in this world. I also believe that this world can sustain what it makes, what it produces. So a man don't put his hands on helping people have babies. I think life take care of itself with the life and death process. But I'm saying that's just my theory. So what now, y'all? What now? Now that we're closed in the house, and our new world order is under construction, what now? What are you going to do? Because our world is never ever going to go back exactly like it was. To truly understand what we're confronted with from this point on, one must truly understand the social constructs and the role they play in managing humanity. Then one has to go a step further and not only look at the social constructs, you need to look and see how currently they have been updated by our advancements in technology. Like the financial world is being updated with cryptocurrency, as well as like the things I talked about we could invest in now, like Amazon and Google and whatever else, in order to see where you fit, where you could become self-sufficient and make money. I'm just talking crap because I can't figure it out for myself. That's why I'm sitting over here broke. So if you ever want to offer me any financial support, you can do so by Cash Apping me. My Cash App name is $ Can Angels Fly Tarot. Anywho, the next thing is to look at, I did a video called Who is Seven Bomar? Comprehension to Ascension. You might want to watch that video, because in that video, I'm not going to go into what I talk about, but it can be related to related to family and marriage. What are relationships going to be looking like in this new paradigm living? We already see the setup for relationships for our future in this new world. What does it look like? Well, number one, you can check out that video I just referred you to, because I go into detail about what relationships can look like and the roles that they play and different things like that. But example of the changes that we already see being made when it has to do with relationships, especially romantic relationships and families, is like sexual liberations, like the LGBTQ plus community. That is framing our mind and therefore our behavior, and therefore will dictate our new paradigm living styles. People don't get married and stay married. People are living single, their best single lives. That's a part of the new construct, the new world order. That's your new paradigm living. Right now, what's going to happen, like in the healthcare industry from this point on? What's going to happen with people being unemployed, moving to get unemployment, can't work, so they can't make their payments, their premium to the doctor, to the dentist, to the whoever, to the HMO? What's going to happen? Are they going to usher in universal health insurance? That would be the best move. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the only way to get the corruption out of our system is that everybody got the exact same amount of money, a universal income. And I don't care what area of work you work in. You do the work because the work is necessary. Bottom line. And you don't push those that can't do it because they don't have the intellectual capacity. Then there are other people that may be able to do the work, and you got to be able to rotate. I'm not even saying, this is nothing. I'm not even saying that we should have to work like my mom worked her whole life. She worked from a young age. She's older than me, so I don't. From a young age until the point she died, non-stop. A lot of people cannot stop working because fearing that they're not going to have enough to take care of themselves and their family. That's wrong. So what should happen? We should be able to rotate. I don't know, maybe I work a year and you work a year. Or I work 6 months, you work 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because the work needs to be done in order to sustain our lives. And the only way we're going to sustain our lives nationally or globally is to follow the organization, the distribution process that is offered by our social constructs. Bottom line, just that easy. You know what I'm saying? But that's the utopia. That's the utopia. So anyway, what am I saying? I'm saying right now, we got to find our way, to some stability. Find our way to some stability. It'll take 20 years. That Venus? No, that's Venus. I was trying to think of astrological alignment. I can't think of it now. So, you gotta find your way. And the way, when I'm saying to find your way, this is another thing, new paradigm living. Technology, our brain is being rewired to be synced with technology as we sit here during our quarantine. Another thing that I noticed, and we got to make a decision about this, I know I do, is like I found a little game on Facebook that I like to play. And I've been talking about it a lot because it matters. Because the game is fun. It's a little cooking game. But it requires for a person, it doesn't require. The game allows you to progress so far, but then halts you because you run out of lives or energy or whatever. And then a screen pops up and it says, give us $100 of your hard-earned money and we'll give you some virtual, fake, imaginary coins so that you can move on. That's a mind F. I didn't cuss. I was like, I'm going to give you my $100 bill for some fake imaginary coins to move on. So I find myself having to wait a week or two to build up enough life, enough energy or whatever to move forward. I'm going around and around in a circle in order to advance myself. So it's highly frustrating. So I'm frustrating myself trying to play a game. So I'm at a crossroads. Do I stop playing the game because I'm getting frustrated because I want to move forward, but I can't because I ain't got enough lives or I ain't got enough of whatever? So then the screen pop up and they ask for my $100. They suggest I can give them a real $100 bill. Now with that real $100 contaminated bill, I could do other things. I could go buy tissue, wart tissue. I could buy some food. I could, what else can I do? Shoot, I could do a lot of stuff. I could sit here at home and literally look at my money with droplets on it right here. Since I can't go out because we're quarantined. But I'm just saying, it's real life stuff I could do. I can go to the grocery store for real, y'all, and buy some food to carry me and my family for a couple of weeks. I could buy some water, some real things that'll sustain my life. Or I could spend it on a virtual game. This is the reality I'm saying that we're moving into. I'm sitting up just playing around about it now. But this is what we're really moving into. Really, really moving into for real. Where one day that's going to be our norm. That is our norm. Either if you want to move forward, you're going to have to pay with some of your, probably your universal income. You're going to have to pay if you want to move forward. Or you can stay where you are and go around about it the hard way and be frustrated, have chest palpitation, be cussing the game out or whatever before you're able to move one step. Well, anyway, these are the kind of things that we need to be aware of now, because We are moving into a time period that we're going to have to make decisions for ourselves based on these new realities. Example, where should you work at? Well, we know the government will still be standing. It will be revised. It is dying. It's going to die and be resurrected. Do you take a seat or a position in one of those governmental agencies, knowing that your job is more secure than most jobs? But you also know that the soul of the spirit being it is corrupt. And if that spirit is corrupt, that means you too are corrupted, or will be corrupt. This is what humanity is dealing with. Or do you, go into the field of technology? Do you have the capability to comprehend technology? And if so, is that something that you will be interested in? I'm talking about being able to really have a job, to really work, not just next year. I'm talking about, what about the young kids that's like 2 or 3? This stuff that I'm talking about, by the time they get to be 18 and 20, and it's time for them to move to the forefront of the workforce, this is what they will wholeheartedly be dealing with. All of these new paradigm, this new world order, and all the new paradigm living, rules. And then this thing about religion. Oh, remember, there are some constructs that's going to die. I do believe, I know most folks won't believe me, that religion is going to die. All 4,200 religions that exist in this world will die. Will they die overnight? No. See, this is a spiritual being these are spiritual beings that we're dealing with. So they are, you have to be able to have that which these people that I keep trying to talk about, the assistancies of power, and now working together to collaborate because they want to build certain constructs and uphold them. They have a certain intellect that most people don't have. You have to cultivate this level of intellect to be able to see the bigger picture. And so when I say see a bigger picture, an example is seeing the spiritual being. Religion is one of those spiritual beings, right? It is a construct as well. It's a construct. But that construct is dying. And we want to look at it like, it ain't dead. People going to church tomorrow. People still doing this. People still doing that. They still got their big hats on. They still coming to drop magazines off the house. It's a spiritual being. It takes generations for it to die. See, our time period is not the same as the spiritual beings' time periods. It's not the same. That's why many of us cannot see. But those professional people, those people that are in power, those elitists, they have that ability to perceive different dimensions. See, I'm talking about different dimensions. Their time is not our time. Trust and believe. I don't care whatever religion you are. The religion that you know of, all 4,200 of them that exist in this world now, are dying. It is dying. It's one spiritual being. It's dying. Our time period is not there. Our time frame is not its time frame. That is the kind of things you must be able to see to be on equal footing with these people that sit in seats of power. That's how they see. They don't see things like you see them. So, what's taking the place of religion? Well, who needs religion? Where is it at? Where is it at, y'all? I'm looking for it. Who needs religion when it's God here on earth? You don't need nothing. You don't need no saints, no angels. You don't need nothing. God exists here on earth. So it is, whether you know it or not, your religion. Every moment that, I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to end this stream, y'all, because I've just been talking and talking. This is Aquarius Rant. This is what I do. I cuss and I fuss. So this is the last thing, if I can remember, I was going to talk about. I forgot. I got to remember. Because that was important. I don't know. Let me sit here and look cute while I try to remember. So we have God here on earth. Oh, those that are still religious. And it really doesn't matter. I do believe that we are currently at this time period in the history of humanity, this time period in which we exist right here, right now. that, like, religion is just an example of just talking out the side of your neck, talking too much. Now, there was a time period that religion played its part. It did. It helped to tranquilize the sheep or sheeple. But then for some, like myself, it was a catalyst for me to gain my awareness, for my subconscious to come to the forefront. It helped a lot of things be revealed to me. So it played its role. But right now, where we are, y'all, truly, and I mean not to be insulting to anyone, but if you're still in religion and you can't see the veils, if you can't see the veils that exist, it's actually too late for you. Again, this spiritual being, religion or construct, is dying. Its time frame is not the same as ours. So what is a day to us may be generations to it. That is to say, over the next 5 generations, maybe 50 years. What's that? 5 decades? So that's why I say generations. Most of you won't even be here. Let's take it 80. 80 years. 8 decades. Generations. You won't even be here. Those religions will not be remembered. Only thing the new generation will know of is God here on earth. That's what I'm saying. What you were supposed to learn from your religion, you're supposed to have already learned. Right now, if you hear the right trigger words, it's supposed to wake you up. This time, like I said, there's a lot going on. I understand that some of it's socially engineered, but I do believe each of us hold a level of responsibility in waking ourselves up. And I know it's hard. I'm still trying to wake up from the level I'm at, because I don't want to be I really don't want to be a part of the bull crap. I ain't being funny, y'all. I'll tell the truth about myself. I'd rather be with the evil witch doctor, what do they call it, the mad son. I'd rather be on their side than and to just be nothing. That's my arrogance. So I guess that's why I'm enslaved here on this earth. I'd rather be. But to be able to not to be able to comprehend and see, especially at this point, with all the destruction in this world, with all the biases, and the hatred, and not seeing we're all on the same globe. That means we were all rowing in the same boat, and you still can't see. You still can't wake up. You still biased. You still hateful. You still crude. You still rude, and then won't even admit that. No, we will, y'all. I'm here to be the bearer of bad news. I'm closing this live stream with bad news. It's past that time. It's over and done. New world order. New world order. I only see one thing. And that one thing is, if our powers that be are forced into moving to create a utopia, we will. Oh, that's another thing. Oh, man. Because it talked about, who was it about? The energy was about having, and the people that will, this is what it's about, and I'm going to leave it alone. The people that excuse me, now that is an aerosol spray, a sneeze aerosol spray that would spread the coronavirus if somebody was right here within 6 feet of me, or I turned around and touched them, or I touched this cup, drank out of it, and somebody else came and drank out of it. So now I got allergies. I felt them coming on. But I told you I'm scared of that too, because that coronavirus had an aspect of that. Anyway, the people that are the people that now possess the power and have or are putting into place the scaffolding system from which they will work to build our new social construct in order to, our new construct, to offer life back to some construct we think was dying or has died. I don't know if that makes sense. Those people that have the power to do all that. Remember, I was saying they see differently. I gave you an example of how they see differently. Example is about the religion, and how it may take 80 years for it to die out. And there's going to be a generation that comes at 80 years that don't remember none of these religions of the world. All they're going to know here is God on earth. This is how these people think. But it's another characteristic that these people bear. Another characteristic that these people bear that the sheeple don't have. And it is that they can be in it for the long haul. They can be in it for the long haul. Let me see if I can summarize. They can be in it for the long haul. They can be in what for the long haul? They can be in the construction and development of our world for the long haul. Like they've been, like it took us 3,000 years to construct. It took 3,000 years for us to construct our pyramid. You know what I'm saying? Our social structures, our overall world social structure that's over the distribution of all the natural resources to all people that were in the world at any given time. 3,000 years. Do you know the staying power you got to have? Do you even know how the generational staying power you got to stay focused on the plan, the blueprint, and nobody deviate from it until it come into being? And you created a whole living being. See, they got that kind of intelligence and maturity about them. So we're not just talking about a physical, worldly intelligence or maturity. We're talking about an advanced spiritual level, of staying. I could do it, but my kids won't agree with me. And then if my kids would agree with me, would their kids agree with me and them? You know what I'm saying? Them, which I taught them. That's how we be saying, how these rich people hand their money down in their estates. That's what they handing down. Duh. That's what I'm saying. The astrological energies are saying y'all stupid. Y'all are stuck. Yes, a part of it is you have been socially engineered to be stuck, to be dim-witted, to be sheeple. But there's a part of you, if you're a human being, that can have a breakthrough. You can have a breakthrough. But many times we don't have a breakthrough because we don't listen to each other. We don't learn from the past. An example, as I was saying earlier in this live stream, and that's not the only thing that we are witnessing. We witness people from our past that were highly destructive to our reality, and now they sit up here and they are our leaders, and they speak peace and what they call enlightenment and ascension. You just in the 80s and 90s, you were destroying this reality. What are you talking about? That's not how you get to. We can say what they call the Buddhist monk leadership. That ain't how you get there, but okay. Then we had people that were buying up everything, living their best life. They was misusing every natural resource they could get your hands on it and turn around and now preaching a minimalist life. And you can't see that. See, these are the kind of differences that exist between the sheep and those that are currently the developers of our new world order. They are the developers of our social construct that is coming online. That's what they are. They're developers. And they see in not just the physical mundane life, they see the complexity of it, and they see in the spirit, and they work from that level. Again, they have a higher consciousness. They understood 3,000 years ago where they still headed today. And they've been working on it that whole time. Handing down the plans, the ideas, everything for 3,000 years from generation to generation. People don't seem like they get the association of the Illuminati. the different organizations that are keepers of secrets. Secrets from who? General populace that don't achieve what needs to be achieved to gain, to become a part and gain access to what's really going on. Keepers of secrets. Do you know how? Can you look at this and see how big of a plan this is? No one person can hold on to all of this information. Have to be guaranteed. People handed to guarantee people that guarantee can hold your own, pull your weight, play your role. If you're a politician, be a politician. If you're a doctor, you're a doctor. You're a father, your father, even mothers. Back in the day, maybe 50 years ago, mothers was mothers. It was a time that mothers did not go out. Mothers didn't go out the house. They took care of home and took care of the kids. Where the men went out and was judges, lawyers, doctors, and stuff. Play your role. Because there is a bigger agenda, a bigger plan at hand. And truth of the matter, the bigger plan at hand was right now. There's the manifestation of God here on earth. But then there's another level. Can you see it? Y'all, good night. I'm going to let it go. I probably didn't finish my thought, but I know I done talked y'all ear off. Thank you for letting me share with you my Aquarius rat. Until next time, y'all. Bye. And don't forget, you can always order your own personal tarot reading with me, Nancy, at any given time by contacting me at my email. My email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. Until then, on to next time, y'all. Bye.